Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Mariners vibes Thursday night. Bump, they felt, I would say, pretty good. The vibes are back. Good feeling only, good vibes only.
Great feeling, good vibes, and it was fun to watch that game. I was wondering what the debut of this new Mariners was going to look like, and it looked good. I compared it to a charcuterie. Because I'm like, you got a little bit of everything there, right? You got bombs. You got Cal and Young hitting 270, but then Curtis told us that they brought it back, 14 feet? Give that man, 470. Give that man that 470, man. Give it to him.
StatCast will hate. You
got extra base hits. You got Suarez with a double. You got Young with a triple. You got stolen bases. Naylor having the best year of his career when it comes to stolen bases. Polanco had 1, 2. You got a quality start. You got some walks. But there are just a couple things missing. You know, Julio could have showed up a little bit more. But a great debut for this new-look Mariners in their Connect uniforms, too, which I don't particularly like.
No, I don't either.
But they got it done.
I have a lot of opinions about this team, particularly this offense, and ones that I'm really excited to share. But can I just mention something about charcuterie, and if you'll just give me one moment for this. Right. I went with some friends, this was a couple years ago, but to a very nice restaurant that I will not name, and I love a charcuterie board. And the one that we ordered was fairly expensive, so I was thinking this thing's going to be bomb. It's going to be Herbie fully loaded. Like we're going to be eating this thing, grazing the whole dinner. They brought it out. When I tell you that they had barely anything on it, including like 2 grapes cut in half and laid on the plate to make 4 grapes, and like 2 cashews. And this thing was like $60.
Here's the thing about when you
there was a grape cut in half.
When you go to nice restaurants, you just got to assume that the portions are going to be small.
It was offensive.
When you go to the hood or the mom and pop, you know, the portion's going to be on point. But no, not the nice restaurants.
All right. Well, the Mariners offense, no, they didn't deliver in the sense that if you were expecting, like, hey, 1 through 6, they're going to hit a bomb. Let's go. Well, no, that's not what happened. However, it was the most excited I've been to see a Mariners lineup. It was maybe my favorite lineup of the season. Oh, yeah, not just with having Gino and Naylor in there, but the structure of the lineup itself I really, really liked. I like Cal Raleigh hitting second. Arozarena leading off was really, really cool. I hope that they stick with this for a long while. Cal getting the 42nd home run of the season. Absolutely awesome. But Cole Young, man, let's go to cut number 1, Cole Young's bomb.
Here's the windup and the 1-1 on the way to Young. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to right field. And there is number 3 for Cole. Oh, my goodness, into the patio of the Hit It Here Cafe. Cole Young with a long home run to straightaway right. Here at T-Mobile Park, it's now the Mariners 2 and the Rangers nothing.
You mentioned this as part of your early takeaway. Like the first thing you said was like Cole Young's home run was really, really cool. Awesome to see. I think that one thing I was thinking is for all the people I was excited to see in this lineup, it's also cool to see a young guy continue to grow in ways that maybe we weren't expecting.
Yeah, because that wasn't his MO when it came to his play. He wasn't known as a power guy, but when you hit the ball that far in that stadium, you got to show some love and respect. Defensively, he's been solid, and the bat is getting going now, too. And I also like how they switched the lineup up. You put JP at the 8th spot. He's been struggling a little bit. It was nice to see him kind of give a sigh of relief, getting on base, also scored a run as well. But no, Cole Young, I would imagine that during the trade deadline, he's sitting there thinking, am I going to be one of the guys sent down to AAA? Like, have I done enough, or what is this team going to do? And I would assume when the trade deadline passed, guys like him and maybe other guys on the roster were like, who? Now I can just be. And then you join a lineup that has clear power. I mean, Arozarena can go yard. Cal, Julio, Naylor, Suarez, Polanco, right? Don't forget he had one of the hottest months we've ever seen over here. That takes pressure off of guys like Cole Young. I don't think if that directly correlated to him hitting a bomb like that, but you would imagine that his mind is in a different place, knowing that he's here and he's got some guys in front of him that are going to make it difficult.
The Rangers have also been a really hot team, so it was good to see them beat them. This overall would have been a night that left everyone feeling really amazing, although there was an injury. What's your concern level about Trent Thornton, who, by the way, it certainly seems like this is going to be kind of the worst. Thornton telling reporters it's probably the Achilles.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm glad I didn't see it go down. I was, what was I doing, like making dinner or something like that, and I heard it, and I turned back, and I saw that he was on the ground. But no, it's unfortunate because you didn't add another arm, right? We were hoping that before the trade deadline passed that they would add another arm. You did get Ferguson, but we were hoping for something else. So this just puts more pressure on those guys in the bullpen. I think they're still capable, but you don't feel as confident as you used to with that bullpen. And the emotions with the bullpen have been up and down this year anyway.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it look really good and sometimes it look bad. So that's just that's just a big hit, man. I feel bad for the guy. He's going to be out for a season plus, and just Godspeed, man. But where you take pressure away in the lineup with some bats, you add pressure to that bullpen, and they have to respond.
Hey, Curtis, when Trent Thornton rejoined the roster after an appendectomy, Casey Lawrence was sent back down. Would you anticipate Lawrence being the arm that they bring back?
Potentially. There's also a chance. I mean, Colin Snyder's kind of in this limbo. He was DFA'd the other day, so you have 10 days to decide what to do with him. I think they would have to decide pretty quickly to put Trent Thornton on the 60-day IL, which would open up a roster spot. So there's that possibility as well. But obviously, you've got to make sure that you get a bullpen arm soon up, because looking at Thornton last night, like that was definitely an Achilles injury. There's a couple names also that were DFA'd around the league. I know Ryan Presley, who has pitched a lot of big innings for the Astros. He was DFA'd by the Cubs yesterday, so that's an option they could potentially go in order to kind of shore up their bullpen here. But, yeah, that did not look like we will be seeing Trent Thornton anytime soon.
I think that maybe the most important takeaway, outside of just liking what we saw from offense, obviously getting a win over the Rangers, is we spent the afternoon, Bob, like the vast majority of our show, was talking about the message that was sent to the fan base, talking about how excited players must be that this team was one of the most aggressive at the deadline. And what I kept thinking throughout the game is what a mindset does for actual performance. And I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to just kind of, you can't suddenly will yourself into being the best player ever, but there's so much to every sport that's mental and emotional.
Yeah, I mean, that's what really separates like the really good guys from the great guys, is something mentally. There's the physical, right? You got to be able to hit the ball and do all that good stuff. But mentally, you're able to tap into a place that a lot of people can't. And it's something called the flow state, right? The greats get into the flow state often. This is something that's regular to them. When average players get there, they perform, they come off the field like, man, that was awesome. Like, that felt great. So the mental game is big. And when you feel like you have the support of your team, when you feel like you have guys on your roster that can compete with anybody, it allows you just to play free. It allows you to go out there and just do you and not feel the pressure of having to execute every single time. Your goal is to execute every time. But let's be real, especially in baseball, you're going to fail 70% of the time. You do that, you're a Hall of Famer. But it's all about taking the pressure off. And it felt like there was no pressure out there. Even when you go with 3 or 4 scoreless innings and then I think Suarez gets on base and whatnot. It never felt like these guys were stressed out yesterday. And it's just one game, right? The vibes were good. You got Gino back. Naylor's out there as well. You saw Ferguson. JP, it looks like he's coming out of his slump. The vibes were good. Now, there are going to be times during the season with this lineup that it's all bad and everyone's playing horrible. But it was more about just getting off to a good start with this new lineup. So that was good. And also, people are on my head about eating dinner at 9:30.
Why?
I was probably doing dishes. I think that's what I was doing. It was after dinner I was doing dishes.
It's not an obscenely late time
to eat dinner. It is late, though. 9:30 is late.
It's late. It's not great for the metabolism. It's not great for fasting. But overall, not the most egregious. Now, if anyone were to if I had friends that were like, oh, we're going to dinner, what time? Like 8:39? I'm so sorry. I unfortunately won't be wearing jeans. That's past my bedtime. I'm not
It's like
going.
dinner time in Spain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like Italy.
Yeah.
I was I've never been to Italy, but I hear that it's the same kind of thing where there's this midday time when you don't really you would never go out to dinner at 5. Like the restaurants it's not uncommon for them to close down and then you go out to dinner much later and there's literally a little siesta middle of the day.
Yeah.
Let's get back to baseball. I really, really enjoyed the feeling of looking forward to every player in the lineup. If you are someone who likes to nitpick, you could, if you wanted to, look at this lineup and you could go, oh, Naylor's striking out a bit more than he did in Arizona. I don't know if Geno's going to have those offensive numbers here at T-Mobile. However, if you're someone who can just kind of appreciate the talent, the numbers that are on this roster compared to leagues past, I think you'd find maybe the most solid group since certainly 2015, but that was also heavily weighed with like Nelson Cruz having his 40-plus home runs. You had like a prime Seager. Cano, I think, had like 30 or something home runs. This is even better than that one. So then you're going back to like, what, 20-plus years? I mean, that's monumental. That's a really long time to go not having a lineup like the one we're looking at right now. So you can pick it apart if you want. You can worry that it's not going to be absolutely perfect. But in terms of the lineups we've seen turned out by the Mariners over the last 20 plus years, this is probably the most talented.
You can nitpick most lineups.
Almost anywhere.
I mean, that's just what it is. I don't think there's ever been just a perfect lineup. Maybe it's somewhere in the future, or maybe I missed it. If you've seen one or heard of one, text in and let me know exactly what you're talking about. But no, this is that's sports, man. Is there's always going to be some type of weakness or a weak link. And sometimes the team's weak link is not as bad as the other teams. And I think that's where you kind of have to start. But, no, I look at this lineup and, man, 1 through 6, 7. You know, all these guys have had some moments. All right, Polanco had one of the greatest starts we've ever seen. Suarez having the year that he's having. Naylor's added something to his game. Obviously, won him. He's more of a contact, put it in play type of guy, but he's still in bases now. Julio, yes, he went 0 for 4 with one strikeout, but he's been playing well as of late. Kyle Raleigh, we know what he's doing, and then Arozarena has been probably the second most consistent guy on this ball club. That's the first time I've looked at that lineup in 10 years and thought, all right, 1 through 6, 7, they should be okay. And if you keep getting contributions from Young down at the bottom and JP gets back to who we're used to seeing, who knows what this lineup can do. And I have to temper my expectations. I tweeted last night, I'm like, look, I'm just trying to hold my composure because I know this is one game and these guys have to show that they can be consistent. But the odds of them being consistent are a lot higher now simply because of talent. Talent wins you ball games.
What's your big question about the team?
Big question is the bullpen. And then the resilience of this rotation because everyone, minus Wu, maybe Wu have 1 or 2 subpar starts, but everyone has had their moment this year to whereas a couple of years ago we felt like we never felt a moment. And I'm sure you play 162, they were there, but overwhelmingly it felt like the pitching staff was extremely consistent. So, no, it would be the bullpen and then just the mental fortitude of this rotation. Can they continue to be that? And I would assume that they look at the lineup, too, and feel like I don't have to go out there and pitch a shutout. Like, most of the time, these guys should be able to score runs. I believe in their wins, they're averaging over 4 runs, and their loss, they're averaging around 2 or less. So as long as they can hover around 4 runs, I mean, that should be enough to keep you in every ball game.
Someone, the 360 says, what's wrong with the City Connect jersey? I'm so glad you asked, 360. The answer is that I don't like it. It's the starkness of black and that royal blue color for me. And it's the black pants.
Yeah, the black pants.
Black pants are tough.
It just, you know what, I used to go to Mississippi when I was younger and watch my dad in his softball league. It feels like I'm watching my dad in his softball league just by the attire. Obviously, the play is different, but it just feels like that. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I mean, I like the hat. The hat is dope with the black brim and the blue top. It's just not my cup of tea.
No, I just 9 out of 10 times prefer as your contrasting shade white, like white pants or, just white with another color. But, I mean, I don't mind black. Just the black pants with the blue shirt is tough. And not like a good tough, not like, oh, it goes tough.
Here's the thing. With that blue top, are there really pants that'll make it pop? Is it just white pants with blue stitching down
I don't
the
like
seam?
that color blue is my problem. I shouldn't be hating on this. You know what? This team just had a miraculous trade deadline. They did a great job. I should shut up. I should really not talk about the City Connect jerseys. They have other unique combos that are fantastic, so I'll just focus on those. Bump and I are live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center. We're going to have Klint Kubiak on the show today, coming up later at noon. We're also going to hear from FTN Fantasy's Aaron Schatz. He's got a really interesting note about the NFC West, one team in particular to keep an eye on. It's not one you'd expect, coming up at 11. Our coverage of Seahawks training camp brought to you by The Landing in Renton. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, the Athletics' Diana Rossini reports talks are breaking down between the Cowboys and Micah Parsons, and the star pass rusher could soon request a trade. What's the real headline?
What are the odds he requests it on his own podcast?
That would be fire, honestly. I'm here for that. I'm here for all the drama. These athletes have ways of getting their word out, and Micah Parsons, everyone's focused on this guy and a couple other guys that we're going to talk about, but, I mean, why wouldn't you? Every single year he's been in the NFL, he's been a Pro Bowler. 39.5 sacks the last 4 years. That's like second most. Seventh most TFLs. He changes games. Dave Wyman always talks about a second meeting guy. That's what Micah Parsons is. He's a second meeting guy. He can walk down to the line. He can play off the line of scrimmage. He's just so versatile that he changes your defense. Him being on the Cowboys doesn't make them a contender, in my opinion. You still need a lot of things to go right. But him not on that team makes him that much worse. So why not just get this thing done? And if I'm Micah, I'm feeling disrespected. I'm the best at what I do in my job, maybe one or two, and you're treating me as if I am replaceable. And if I were him, I would be considering a trade at this point as well. I feel disrespected.
I wonder why the Cowboys are so uniquely bad, and Bengals, at figuring out how to pay their stars. Now, the Bengals are cheap, so that's their problem. They're cheap. The Cowboys are not, and I can't tell, Bump, if it's because the stars that they've had these issues with are just top-of-the-line guys. Like CeeDee Lamb was looking to get paid like the top receiver because he had a case to make, so that's tough. That's a tough negotiation. Micah Parsons has a case to make, so that's also tough. Or if it's like a Jerry Jones issue. Like it's one of the two.
You know what's unfortunate is that when we talk about the Cowboys struggle, unfortunately, because of Jerry Jones' age, you start to consider cognitively like, all right, what's going on? You know, but he's still running a multi-billion-dollar organization, and he has shown outside of football he knows how to handle money. But for some reason, when it comes to paying his players, he wants to wait till the very last minute. It messes up relationships. And even say they get a deal done and Micah Parsons does return back to the Cowboys, their relationship is going to change. It's going to be different. And I don't think he takes that into consideration while he's going through this process.
Next up.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number two, Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin has requested a trade after both sides have been unable to reach a new deal. What's the real headline?
It turns out the scariest Terry is the one that isn't there.
Commanders, again, what are you doing? You have Jaden Daniels, who's third or fourth when it comes to MVP favorites, finished seventh in MVP voting last year. He needs this guy. Deebo Samuel is not scary Terry. Deebo is a heck of an athlete. He can catch the football. The routes aren't what Terry is. You got to be able to have a guy who can go one-on-one and beat the best corner out there. If he were to get traded, I got some spots for him. You're not going to trade into an NFC team, so let's focus on the AFC. You can go to Pittsburgh. Imagine him and DK being teamed up. You can go to the Raiders. Geno needs a guy. You know, that run game should be good. You got Myers over there. You can go to the Bills with Shakir. He had, 800 yards last year. You drafted Keon Coleman the year before him. That can be a 1-2-3 combo. Or you can go to a nice little startup and send him to the Titans and give Cam Ward a receiver. Those are some options. I don't think it gets done. It shouldn't get done. You should take care of this guy. But if you're serious, hit me up, Terry. I can negotiate for you.
I think a really good exercise in seeing just how important McLaurin has been for that Washington offense is to go to the Pro Football Reference page for the Commanders and look at where they have the top players, passer, rusher, receiver. It's McLaurin every single year. It's never anyone else going all the way back through 2019. And if you look at the passer column, it's a different name almost every time. Daniel's obviously the best one he's been with by far, but Howell, Heineke, Smith, Keenum. It's just there's been so little consistency at quarterback, and yet McLaurin has been the single most consistent thing on that team. You've had more head coaches than you've had leading receivers for this team. What are you doing? I mean, this is finally the opportunity for him to be rewarded for that consistency. You know what I mean? There's a certain point where it's yeah, oh, sure, play out your contract, and yeah, you're getting older, but you guys kind of owe it to him to reward him for that, especially if he's still delivering it. It's not like he's bad. He's not coming off a serious injury. He's still there.
Yeah, that's the thing about these contracts is that once you hit around 29, 30, you're no longer being paid for what you've done. They're paying you off of what they expect out of you. And maybe they're looking at Terry and saying, we don't know if he can put together another 1,000-yard season. If that's their angle, then I think you guys are completely wrong, because we're seeing receivers, good receivers, the elite, kind of stretch this thing into 34, 35 years of age and sign this man and talk to your quarterback. If he's your franchise guy, you think Jaden Daniels is going to be there for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, he should have input in this situation. I guarantee you, if they talk to Jaden Daniels, he's going to say, I need my number one receiver out there.
Well, and every other time we're talking about whether or not they're going to pay these guys, it's, they really need to pay Parsons, but God, they got so much money wrapped up in Dak Prescott. Yeah, they really got to pay this guy, but they've got money wrapped up in Lawrence. Daniels is on a rookie deal. Like, this is kind of when you're allowed to. We always talk about the best thing you can have for your salary cap is a great rookie on a rookie deal. This is the time when you overpay other guys to put around him because you can afford it in a way that you never otherwise would.
Splurge a little bit.
Yeah.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Seahawks left tackle Charles Cross had surgery to repair a dislocated finger but is expected to return by the start of the regular season. What's the real headline?
Can we expect the rest of the offensive line to be ready for the start of the regular season?
This provides opportunity for tackles. Charles Cross has entered the points of his career to where we don't have to worry about what you're going to get out of him. He's been the most consistent offensive lineman since he joined the squad, 3-4 years ago. Obviously, you want him out there. You want to get those reps. Conditioning could be an issue. He can run and do all that good stuff with after the surgery, where there's nothing like feeling the force of defensive linemen and climbing to the linebacker and all that good stuff. Mentally, he's going to be fine. It's going to be more the physical type, but get this thing done. I saw a picture, and they said what his hand could look like if he didn't have that surgery on his finger, and they looked at Booger McFarland. There was another analyst whose fingers just dangling over there. So it doesn't look good. Like, you don't want your hands to look like that, but if you play long enough in the NFL, you can have some things. I mean, my pinky's all jacked up, and I only got it in a couple seasons. Big Ray posted his fingers as well. That's
Paul
life in the
Moyer's
trenches,
hands,
man.
too. I feel like that's always what I look at is, like, when I've either, Moyer has guested or, like, if I'm ever around you guys, I just find myself through this job around a lot of players who have played a long time. And you can see, especially with the old school guys, like, those hands just takes a toll.
I bet you Wyman's fingers aren't all intact either, playing in the box like that.
Way.
It's life in the trenches, man.
Yeah, you guys
is what
have
it is.
Gruesome injuries. The Seahawks are closing in on the preseason, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks game on Friday, August 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, simply text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. This contest runs through Monday, August 4th. NFC's All-Rookie Squad. Bump has a list coming your way next.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now.
This thing on
and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com.
This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Summer can be the best time of the year, but if it's not feeling good in your house, if it's turning into an oven, some of the problems might be because you don't have enough insulation in your crawl space or attic. In fact, many homes in our region have damaged insulation or even none at all. Yeah, it's Mike Salk here, and you got to get somebody to check on it. That's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and do a full corner-to-corner inspection of your crawl space and attic. And if it turns out that you've got a problem with your insulation, and maybe that's leading to bigger energy bills, guess what? Local utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost of getting your house properly insulated. In fact, if you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to get your attic properly insulated. Yep, 95%. Call Crawl Pros if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic. Schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump, you were looking at kind of an all-rookie squad, understanding some of these young players that could be making some noise in the NFC.
Sleeper team.
Sleeper team, I should say. All-rookie sleeper team. So we're not looking at assuming it like some high picks, names that you definitely know, just guys that could make some noise, and it's kind of fun to kind of know of them or be looking for them early before they hit the scene. You're looking at primarily, we're going to start offensive skill guys.
Offense in the NFC. We're going to start there. The sleeper squad. So we know Cam Moore, the #1 pick. He's in the AFC. After that, you got Jackson Dart and you have Tyler Shough. Now, Jackson Dart is not going to be the starter over there with the New York Giants. He's going to have to wait his turn. So the guy who's going to give you the most production is going to be Shough. Now, I don't know how great he's going to be. He's over there with the Saints. The personnel isn't great. You got a first-year head coach, and then you have Jalen Milroe under him. Those are the two guys who are competing for my sleeper team. The quarterback spot is going to be tough when it comes to sleepers because if you aren't a starter in the game, you're going to wait your turn, and this draft class isn't the greatest. Right after that, you got Kyle McCord in the NFC that was drafted in the 6th round by the Philadelphia Eagles. We know that Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy over there. So the quarterback is a sleeper that you might fall asleep on and not watch their games because they're not going to be very good. It is Tyler Shough because he's going to get the most reps over there with the Saints. Good luck to you, young man. It is going to be tough. The quarterback is a tricky position.
All right. What do we got next?
All right, so now we're going to go to the running back position. RBs. What I love about running backs is that you're going to see 1, 2, maybe even 3 running backs per team get some touches. Obviously, you're going to have your running back who gets the most touches. The AFC dominated when it came to the first running backs draft. You got Ashton Genty, #1 out of Boise State, going to the Raiders. You have Amarion Hampton, who I really like. He played last night, had a couple good runs out of North Carolina. He went to the Chargers. You have Judkins, who's trying to figure some things out. He Ohio State. He was with the Browns. And you have Henderson out of Ohio State. Then you have Harvey. So you got to go all the way down to my guy, Mr. ASU himself. Big ups to Paul Moyer. It's got to be Cam Scatterbull. He's a guy who's going to be your utility player. I imagine that they find multiple ways for him to touch the football. He's going to have about 300 yards receiving and about 300 to 400 yards rushing. I think that they're going to hand him the football. They're going to throw him the football. They might even put him back on a special team or two just to find ways to get him the football because he's that explosive. He has to go through Tracy Gray over there, and you have Singletary as well. I see him by the end of the year being the #2 guy because there's no way you keep a guy like Scatterbull off the field for too long. At the running back spot, the AFC dominated the first, 6 or 7 picks when it came to running backs, and then you get down to Scatterbull. After that, who knows, man? This was one of the deepest drafts ever when it came to running backs. Obviously, you have Damian Martinez over here, who just moved up in his on the depth chart because of the injury to Kenny McIntosh. But you got to go with Scatterbull, man. I think that he's going to be a sleeper guy around week 3, 4, 5. You're going to find ways to get him the football, and he's going to be able to be the explosive player that he is.
What's next?
All right, so now we got wide receivers.
This could be fun.
The retrievers. So obviously you got McMillan at #1 in the NFC. Emeka went 19 overall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we're not going to talk about him because he's going to start. He's going to get some love. And also Matthew Golden, I think, is going to be a #1, #2 receiver out of Texas to the Green Bay Packers. He's going to help my guy Jordan Love over there, but I'm going down to Luther Burden out of Missouri. This is a guy, the run after the catch is crazy. You know how many times I saw him catch a hitch, take it to the house, catch a slam, get 20, 30 yards. His production went down a little bit his second year just because of the quarterback situation, but he's not a very big wide receiver. Size-wise, he reminds me of like a Jamar Chase. They got him listed at 6 foot 206. He's probably 5'11", 200. You know, you got to subtract some numbers when you look at these measurements, but it's all about the run after the catch. And he can be a sleeper over there with the Chicago Bears because of what they're developing around him. You get a good offensive lineman to help out with Caleb. You bring over Ben Johnson, and it sounds like Caleb is taking ownership of that offense. He's going to spread the football around and get this young man the football. My sleeper, if you want to call him a sleeper, a second-round pick just because the receivers were so deep, second-round pick out of Missouri to the Chicago Bears, that's going to be my sleeper right there, Luther Burden, run after the catch.
I think he counts as a sleeper because he's not a name that everyone was talking about leading into it. He wasn't someone that was like projected frequently to go in the first round, but he's one that the second you said it, I was like, oh my God, so many of those like NFL draft profile podcasts and previews that I was listening to leading up to the draft, almost every single one of them, he was like the sexy pick, where like Lance Zierlein, where if you go to NFL.com and you look up draft profiles and scouting reports on guys as they're entering the league, he writes most of those. He was on with Bucky Brooks for Watch the Sticks, and he said that Luther was one of his best wide receivers in the class. Why weren't we talking about him as a first rounder?
It was just his production went down tremendously. He went from like over 1,000 yards to around like 700 or something like that. And naturally, you scratch your head and you say, all right, well, why? And it was simply just the quarterback situation over there. And I think that he could be one of those guys that's going to be explosive. You don't have to design a great scheme for him. You don't have to layer these routes and make sure he's wide open, isolate him. You just get him the football, he's going to catch that thing, and he is going to go. He's going to be one of the more exciting receivers when it comes to yard after the catch, because you look at the guys in front of him, you have McMillan, who's more of a possession receiver. He can go and get it. I think Emeka does a little bit of everything. Honestly, when it comes to overall receiver play, Emeka, in my opinion, is better than McMillan, but McMillan is 6'4" and has that range. And then Matthew Golden is a guy who's just fast as well. So, no, it's all about that yak, the yards after the catch, that rack, that run after the catch. That's where Luther Burden III is going to shine.
All right, what else? What else?
All right, last one I got when it comes to the skill positions, we're just focusing on that. Tight end spot. So the tight end, we all know who the favorite was coming out of this draft, the young man out of Michigan, Colston Loveland. I like Loveland better. That's what I'm going to call him. And then it was Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Loveland goes to the Chicago Bears, and Tyler Warren goes to Penn State. After that, there's Terrence Ferguson, who went out of Oregon, went to the Los Angeles Rams. But guess what? A Seahawk cracks his list. Elijah Arroyo is going to be your sleeper. For us, he's not a sleeper. For us, we're looking at him at training camp and seeing what he's doing. We're going to talk to Kubiak later. I'm going to ask him about Arroyo. But yeah, he can be the sleeper. And the reason why I like him is because he can play anywhere. Outside, slot, attached to the line of scrimmage. Loveland can do the same. Tyler Warren is more of your traditional type of tight end, real big bruiser, but he's elusive as well. But Elijah Arroyo can do something to this offense that no tight end has done since maybe Jimmy Graham. But he can also be more physical and be a better blocker than Jimmy Graham, something that people are concerned about when it comes to Elijah Arroyo. But I'm not. I think that he's young enough to where he can be taught. When you get guys later in their careers and they stay in their box and you know who they are, you can start to pitch and hold them a little bit. But Elijah Arroyo is the sleeper for the tight end spot. So those are my guys. QB, I got to go with Shug by default. It's default, okay?
It's not pure optimism.
No, it's
default.
Just default. It's default. He's going to get the reps. He's going to ball. At running back, we got Scatterboo. I think he's going to have about 300, 400 yards rushing, 340 yards receiving. At wide receiver, we got Luther Burden out of Missouri. He is with the Chicago Bears. We're expecting a jump in offense production over there. And then at the tight end spot, we got Elijah Arroyo out of University of Miami over there with my guy, Cam Ward. Let's go get it.
You know what I find so interesting about Elijah Arroyo is, I don't want to say a 180, but he is very much enticed a Seahawks audience that's now very eager to see him in a way that I do not think was the case on day 2 of the draft. When he was selected, it's not like I was seeing a ton of disappointment by any means, but I think that Seahawks fans and many fans, NFL fans outside of Seattle, were very fairly expecting either another offensive lineman, like why not boost this offensive line, or maybe something that felt like a very clear position of need. You had taken A.J. Barner the year before. You still had Noah Fant here. And I think tight end's been so underutilized that it just wasn't seen as the massive need that, and you have been on top of saying tight ends not only in Kubiak's offense could be spectacular here, but that this is a position group that deserves more love and should see more production.
Tight end changes the game. You know when they show those diagrams of like cavemen and how we've all evolved, like at the end of that, it's a tight end, right? He's at the he's leading the evolution right now when it comes to humans.
We heard a bit about how training camp has felt for, speaking of rookies, this one not a sleeper, Grey Zabel so far. That's coming your way next.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
The 2025 Seahawks season is almost here. Get fitted for game days with jerseys, caps, and tees, including the 2025 training camp collection. Visit the Seahawks Pro Shop at the Landing in Renton and Lumen Field or online at seahawks.com/pro shop.
For Riverside Roofing, beyond the national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville that's built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. Find them at riversideroofingllc.com.
Sparta's Pizza reminds parents 460,000 children are reported missing in our country every year. Please plan with your kids a safe, visible route to and from activities with at least one friend. Coach your kids to stay alert and be aware of their surroundings, and caution your children to never accept gifts or rides from strangers. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Sparta's Pizza and Spaghetti House, serving the best pizza in the universe in Linwood, Bothell, and Mill Creek, or find them online at spartaspizza.com.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Top Fitness Stores, the Puget Sound's premier fitness equipment store, is having a summer sale. Right now, they're offering the Inspire FT2 functional trainer at $2,000 off. Check out Precore's new 500 series treadmills and ellipticals. They're also offering the Inspire T5 fold-up treadmill at $500 off. Do you have an empty room in your house? Give Top Fitness your room dimensions, and they'll do a complete fitness room design. Top Fitness also has the flooring to complete the fitness space you dream of. As always, get the best advice and service from the team of experts at Top Fitness with professional delivery and assembly. It's no secret that everyone from personal trainers to professional athletes loves Top Fitness. From simple items like weights and accessories to complete home gym packages. Check out the summer event now. Top Fitness has locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue. Or visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
It's about grit.
Leonard Williams drags him down.
Running through whatever gets in your way.
The handoff to Charbonnet. Stiff arms a man, turns, first down. Oh my goodness, what a blast!
Fighting for every yard.
The handoff to Walker. He breaks a tackle, comes back to the near side, stumbles across the 10, breaks the tackle. Touchdown, Seahawks!
And a drive that never ends. Celebrating 50 seasons of Seahawks football. Visit Seahawks.com/tickets today.
Every jersey tells a story.
So many people dressed in Seahawks blue.
From unforgettable touchdowns.
Touchdown, Seahawks! Jackson Smith-Njigba, Johnny on the spot.
To game-changing hits.
He gets hit again. Leonard Williams drags him down.
To memorable catches.
Jordan dropping back to pass in the end zone to Largent. Touchdown, Seahawks!
History lives in every thread. Shop official Seahawks jerseys in-store at Lumen Field, The Landing in Renton, or online at Seahawks.com/pro-shop.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump, when Grey Zabel was selected by the Seahawks at 18 overall, I was at a draft party, like a Seahawks draft party, and the crowd erupted. I was like, man, that's a lot of excitement for an offensive lineman, especially an interior guy.
You're at Muggleshoe, right?
And I was with Lofa and Klint, and they were both like, I hope it's offensive line here. The crowd loses their mind, and I'm like, this is you know what? Give the big boys some love.
Yeah.
and the crowd definitely was, but it's because this Seahawks fandom is desperate for just a significantly better group there. Every single conversation that we had last year, the year before that, and on and on and on, kind of whittles down to the offensive line. And if Ray Roberts was sitting here, he'd say, well, it's central to football, the trenches. It's a game that's exactly where it's won. And so inevitably, if you talk about, the Seahawks were 29th in rushing yards per game last year, you can't have that conversation without talking about the offensive line. It doesn't matter that Ken Walker only played 11 games. It's also an offensive line thing.
Right.
It doesn't matter that you have a coordinator who wasn't here because the scheme isn't exactly what they wanted. It's an offensive line thing. So one of the most important additions, Grey Zabel. Brock and Salt got to talk to him at camp, figure out how he's been. I wanted to take a listen to some Grey Zabel sound and then kind of touch base again with what you've seen, how you feel about this group, kind of where they have some room to grow. So first, let's go to Cup 14. Grey just asked how camp's been so far.
Man, I would say it's definitely harder, both mentally and physically, just going against the guys that I get to go against every single day. It's a lot of fun, though. Like, I enjoy being out in Seattle. I enjoy playing for this organization with these coaches, with these guys in the locker room, and we're having a blast every single day. So there's definitely some pros and cons to the NFL life, but I'm enjoying everything so far.
Harder physically and mentally than I expected. Yeah, I don't blame him. And you know what, Bump? I actually like that he's saying it. Because for some reason, I get a little annoyed. It's a me thing. But when players, especially like, you get guys from Bama, they're like, yeah, it's basically the same. Sometimes, far be it from me to know, but sometimes I want to be like, no, it's not.
Well, he ain't from Bama.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that kind of that factors into that thing
here.
as well. I'm also like hearing that it's harder because when you look at the structure of NFL practice, it's easier than college. Like, just far as the time you're out there, how many times you can wear pads, but you are going up against the best of the best. So, no, it's refreshing to hear that, but it makes sense, too, because my man was going up against guys that he dominated every single week at South Dakota. Or is it North Dakota? Sorry, North Dakota. Yeah, so good, young man. Respect the game, but I'm sure he's going to be fine. He's here for a reason.
Cut 16, Grey was asked if run blocking or pass blocking is harder.
I would probably say pass blocking, just how fast they get off the ball. And like I think I mentioned it the other day, like your weakness is just magnified tenfold every single day because they understand how to beat you, and then you got to be able to constantly work on that and get better at that. So your kind of weaknesses are starting to shrink down. So I would say pass blocking, just because the amount of games and just the type of players that we're going against every single day.
That made me think a lot about
What it
last
makes you
year's
think?
offense. And kind of thinking of it wasn't a spectacular group, and I don't mean that to be a slight, but there was so much pressure on this offensive line last year when it comes to pass blocking and when it came to what that offense did or tried to do.
I mean, pass pro is it's the toughest thing for a lineman to do. Same thing for a running back. I was listening to Big Ray on the Wyman and Bob show when he was here. Maybe it was Monday or Tuesday, and he talked about a new technique that these guys are using. Typically, when you're in pass pro, you're pretty much in a back pedal. It's more like a kick post type of thing. If you're familiar with football, you know what I'm talking about. But you keep one leg in front, you kick the back, you slide the front foot, you're retreating. It sounds like now the technique that's being taught is a bit different. It's a kick post, and then you go and attack the defender, which I like, because when you're on the defense constantly as an offensive lineman, when you're in that pass pro type, you're allowing the defender to close space and to create movement. As a receiver, when I'm going up against a DB, I don't want to make a move on him 2 to 3 yards away from him. I want to get right on him and make a move, so he has to respect every movement that I'm making. So that's essentially what it looked like for an offensive lineman. He's getting to that kick post, retreating as the defender goes at him, and now he's not on the attack. He has to respect. So when you kick post, and attack, you put pressure on the edge rusher or whoever it is. As a receiver, it's the same thing. If I have a corner who's sitting in cover 2 and just squatting right there, maybe he gets a little bit of depth and he attacks, it makes me have to use more of my tools in my tool bag. It's the same exact concept. So things like that I feel like are going to help this offensive line when it comes to protection. That's just on the one-on-one type thing. Now when it comes to scheme, like you can have a guy disappear, boom, all right, then you slide over to help your guard with his protection. Then they might loop a linebacker back around, and now you have to get out there and do that. Things like that, I think, is what's going to confuse a young offensive line the most, because you just don't see all that happening. You kind of got to feel it. So it's offensive line play is one of the hardest things to do in the game. It will be challenging, but they'll be coached up.
We talk about, speaking of, the offensive line as players just typically not getting a lot of love when things go right. How about when a team is really succeeding, position coaches also not getting a lot of love? Sometimes people will look at the offensive and defensive coordinators and their impact on the game, but sometimes you'll interview players and they'll be like, oh, like so-and-so, Sanjay Lal, whatever it is, who's no longer here, but like a wide receiver coach, like he's been hugely impactful for me. John Schneider, in an interview, this was the John Schneider show, one from last year, where he was asked about, whether they have a development issue, whether they have a drafting issue. And he tended to lean more toward development and maybe like, hey, maybe we should take more time with some of these guys. He seemed very confident that the coaching group that they had in could also make a huge difference. One of those coaches, new offensive line coach John Benton, cut 17. Gray asked about him.
He's unbelievable. I mean, he's been doing this for I don't even know how many years, a lot of years, but he's a great football coach, great football mind. I mean, he's unbelievable to kind of be in the room, because we're a really young room. So he's doing a great job of understanding each one of us, how we play, coaching us up. I mean, I love the tough love kind of mentality that he has, and he's going to kind of push you to get the best out of you, and I think that's exactly what we need in our offensive line room right now.
What's Benton's job here with this group, and how much of an impact can a coach make compared to, your scheme or whatever? Develop.
I mean, you didn't go to the draft and pick up 3 offensive linemen like last year, right? Was it Haynes, Jarrell, and Finley, right? You went and picked up Michael Jarrell and Sundell, sorry. You went and picked up several offensive linemen. This time you picked up one offensive lineman and said, look, I have to develop the rest of these guys. So his job is to develop. One of the most coachable positions on a football team is the offensive line. As the position group with the smallest ego out of anybody on the football team. So they're going to be receptive. And his job is to make sure that they understand the scheme, they understand what technique that he wants, and they're able to adjust and communicate. Because it's almost like when you send a kid off to college. Or you send a kid off to college, you're like, man, I hope I taught them enough and that they're going to be fine. Same thing with a football team. Once you send them out on the football field, you're not in their ear. Only a quarterback has the communication with the offensive coordinator or the head coach, and that's only until 15 seconds on the clock. So his job is to get them ready just to go out there and make adjustments on their own on the fly, and that starts with the center, quarterback, and all those guys communicating together.
For his 2025 FTN Football Almanac, FTN Fantasy's Aaron Schatz explores all 32 teams, the main story for each of these teams heading into the year, some overlooked stats or stars from last season. We're going to ask him all about the Seahawks and the rest of the NFC. He joins us next.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Seattle home prices, well, they just keep going up, and you might be ready to take advantage. If you're getting ready to sell or just moved into a new home, now is the time to get a thorough inspection of your crawl space and attic. And don't do it yourself. You don't want to be crawling around in there. You probably don't even really know what to look for. It's Mike Salk here, and Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to, so you can know if there's anything going on in your crawl space or attic without having to crawl into and evaluate those spaces on your own. A free inspection will let you know if your home is energy efficient and if the air you're breathing is clean and safe. Plus, there are some really great utility rebates available right now to help you with the cost of the new insulation if it's needed. How nice would it be to get someone else to cover that cost? Had them out to my house, and it was a great idea. Did that free corner-to-corner inspection, found some issues, they took the pictures, showed them to me, and then solved the problem. No issues since. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license, unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization, video streams, and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data, Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credits plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners beat the Rangers in Game 1 of their series last night. The 4.5 back of Houston, who had an off day. Cal Raleigh hit his 42nd home run of the season. Cole Young had a home run and a triple. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin has requested a trade per ESPN. McLaurin and Washington remain far apart negotiations for a contract extension, with McLaurin presumably looking for a deal that matches or surpasses the one signed by DK Metcalf. McLaurin reported to camp Sunday he's still been appearing on the sidelines after practice this week.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
FTN Fantasy's Aaron Schatz joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. As a reminder, Aaron's 2025 FTN Football Almanac is out now. Go to ftnfantasy.com/almanac to get your copy today. If you guys have questions about that site later, need a reminder, just text us. We'll send you the link. Aaron, we're really happy to have you. And maybe with the theme of the new 2025 Almanac, we'll start with the Seahawks, but then take a look at some other teams around the league, because it's always this really information-packed, but also easy to digest and usually pretty funny summary of everything that you need to know about these teams. As part of it, you do look at, like, here was what last year was about in a couple words. Here's what this year is about. When you looked at the Seahawks, what do you feel like the biggest change from 24 to 25 was in your mind, like kind of the story of their season?
The story of their season the last couple of years has been, hey, we're kind of good but not great every year. Like, that's what the chapter is about, the fact that they seem to rank 14th every year. And there's a little bit of purgatory in that, because you don't make the playoffs, or if you make the playoffs, you lose in the first round, and you're not getting great draft picks, but you're also not winning playoff games. So they're just sort of running in place. And the question is, have they conquered that this year by changing the quarterback and changing the offense so significantly?
Hey, you ranked the Seahawks number 2 when it comes to talent under the age of 25. How do they not mess this up? Like, how do you build off of the talent that they currently have on the roster?
Well, I mean, the biggest problem is that the talent under the age of 25 doesn't include the quarterback position, and that's the most important position, right? So the way to not screw this up is either to build on what Darnold did last year, which we honestly, have reservations about whether that's possible, or to draft a young quarterback next year and build around that quarterback with all the other young talent that they have at all these other positions. Unfortunately, that's the one thing they're missing is the quarterback.
I know that this team has really, really leaned into, obviously, their defense and is hoping that just like this will lead us where we need to go. As you know, that doesn't always result in the season that you want. There were plenty of teams with top 5, 6, 7 finishes defensively last year that weren't in the playoffs, or that kind of struggled to stay consistent. Without having a top-tier quarterback, right, what can Seattle do offensively to complement what they're trying to do on the other side of the ball?
Well, offensively, I mean, I think they want to be a run-first team. I'm not that excited about their running backs. I don't want that to be seen as negative. I'm not negatively, unexcited. I mean, it's an analytics thing. There aren't a lot of running backs who really move the needle, either positively or negatively. And as far as the wide receivers go, I mean, the big question is just, what does Cooper Kupp have left? Because he did not, in the second half of last year, look like the Cooper Kupp of legend who had that amazing Triple Crown season or whatever it was for the Rams a couple of years ago. And nobody really in the league considers Marquez Valdez-Scantling to be a starting wide receiver. So they need to get better offensive line play. They need to really make the running game go. That's what they want to really build around, hoping that that feeds the play-action pass. But then who are they play-action passing to, right? Cooper Kupp is not a guy who's going to be running deep routes. That's Valdez-Scantling, and he drops too many of them.
Yeah, that's been, I guess, his reputation in this league. He has made some big plays, but, yeah, that's definitely a part of his profile. I heard a conversation you had on a podcast, and it said the NFC West, you guys were discussing, could it be the best division in football? When I think about the best division in football, I naturally go to the NFC North maybe, or maybe the AFC North. What is it about this division that you feel like could possibly be the best division in football? And what was your conclusion with that conversation?
It doesn't have Cleveland in it. That's part of it, right?
Oh, no.
As far as the AFC North, right now, our projections would say the NFC North is the best division. But if we are not giving enough credit to McDonald and his ability to build a defense over multiple years, and I'll fully admit we may not be giving him enough credit for that, then it's Minnesota's defense that's likely to take a step back while Seattle's defense takes a step forward. And that would make the NFC West likely the best division in football. We really like the Cardinals. They were like 14th in our numbers last year. I don't think people realized they were that good. Their defense, we like to take a step forward. San Francisco was 13th in our numbers, despite going 6-11, and they're going to have much better health this year. And then I don't need to explain to people why the Rams are good, obviously, Stafford and Puka Nacua, and then, the defense having young players like Jared Verse and Fisk. That's a quality team, too. And so you put that all together, and you end up with a very good division with somewhat easy schedules because of the teams they play from other divisions.
I wanted to take a closer look at the Cardinals. I'm really glad you mentioned that. My next question was going to be, hey, the Cardinals are the team that I feel like I understand the least in the division and am the least able to kind of predict. What's something that you feel like maybe we overlooked or just fundamentally didn't understand or recognize about this team last year, and where's their maybe biggest area of growth potential?
I mean, the underlying stats were just better than the record, right? The record was 8-9. They were 11th in offensive DVOA, which is my main rating system. So I don't think anybody would say Arizona was on the, cusp of having a top 10 offense, but they were. And if Marvin Harrison can take a step forward, and they really didn't use him that well last year, like they need to give him a wider variety of routes to run. This team could take an offensive step forward, but I think it's more likely we're going to see the step forward on defense because they added Dalvin Tomlinson, they added Josh Sweat, they added Calais Campbell, and then they used their first 2 draft picks, including Will Johnson, who I think everybody believes is really a first-round talent at cornerback who fell to the second round because of injuries, and then it turns out those injuries aren't going to keep him off the field this year. He's going to be fine. So Arizona's defense, and, they've got a defense-first head coach in Gannon, could be a top 10 defense this year.
FTN has their highest chances to win the Super Bowl according to DVOA projections. Ravens at number 1. Eagles dropped all the way down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at 4.4%, and Niners jump up at 8.6%. Kind of explain that for the folks. Why such a drop for the Eagles and a climb for the Niners?
Well, the Niners, like I said, very good last year despite the injuries, and they're much healthier this year, but also the easiest schedule in the NFL that they are going to just chomp on all year long, especially in the second half of the season. Philadelphia, people just don't understand that defense is less consistent than offense. That team was not a great offense last year during the regular season. Yes, they were during the Super Bowl, but not during the regular season. They were a great defense. They were the best defense in the league. It's very unlikely that Philadelphia will have the best defense in the league again, especially given the talent that they lost on that side of the ball. They could be like third or fourth best defense, but third or fourth best defense is a drop from where they were last year, and they have a tough schedule. Right now, we have them with the number 2 hardest projected schedule in the league. Only the Giants have a harder projected schedule. Just to give you an example of the difference between the Eagles and Washington, the Eagles have to play Buffalo and the Rams while Washington plays Miami and the Seahawks.
How do you feel about, I can guess the answer, but Aaron, how do you feel about a Dallas Cowboys team if they don't have Micah Parsons to start the season?
I don't feel that great about the Dallas Cowboys this year in general. If they don't have Micah Parsons, I feel really not great about them, right? Like, the same goes for Terry McLaurin, by the way. I'm like waving the flag for the Washington Commanders, but if Terry McLaurin is gone, that's going to have a massive impact on their offense. They got to get these guys signed.
Well, what do you think the chances are that the Bengals finally get that deal done with Trey Hendrickson? I mean, you would think there'd be some urgency there. And what does that defense look like without Trey Hendrickson in the lineup?
Again, from bad to worse, right? Like he was, most of their sacks last year was like one guy. So they need to get him signed if they want to have a defense this year. And even with him, their defense doesn't look that great. I mean, this is an important thing to know about defense. You can have a great defensive player and still have a bad defense. It's not like at quarterback, if you have a good quarterback, you have a good offense. Cleveland could have Myles Garrett last year and still have a bad defense because of the other players on the defense. So having Hendrickson around doesn't guarantee the Bengals are going to have a good defense, but it'll certainly be better if they just bring him in.
The Bears were kind of a darling for a pick last year, understandably, number 1 overall pick, a ton of spotlight, and then they just kind of collapsed. And in part, that was like internal problems, right? An offensive coordinator issue, a coaching issue. This year, they're another popular pick, and I think as an NFC team here in Seattle that didn't make the playoffs, you're looking at other NFC teams that didn't make the playoffs, wondering if any of them are going to kind of leapfrog you and get in. Are the Bears a team this year where you think some of that hype is fair? How do you project their season? What stands out?
I like them. I think they're going to be better. I like the offense to be better with Ben Johnson as the coordinator, but he needs to fix the clock in Caleb Williams' head. And if not, Caleb Williams is going to keep taking a lot of sacks. Meanwhile, their defense is not that good. They don't have a lot of pass rush. Jalen Johnson, their number 1 cornerback, is injured. And they have the 3rd hardest projected schedule in the league. So I like the Bears to be a little bit better, but I don't think that they're going to rise to the level of Super Bowl contender.
Obviously, we have Sam Darnold over here from the Vikings. So J.J. McCarthy is going to step up and be the starter. And then when I look at the Vikings offense, I feel like it's quarterback friendly with the play action and all that. And J.J. McCarthy coming from a system in Michigan where he worked a lot under center, but there's some high expectations for him over there. What about this Viking offense gives you optimism that J.J. could be successful, or do you feel like it's going to be a rough year for him?
I mean, the presence of Justin Jefferson, right, who might be the best receiver in the game. Jordan Addison's very good. T.J. Hawkinson. But you have to expect that rookie quarterbacks will be bad. And he is effectively a rookie quarterback. So you have to expect that he's going to be bad. He may not be bad. He may be good. He may be really, really bad. But it's likely that what he's going to be is just kind of bad, because that's how you have to expect rookie quarterbacks to be.
Hey, Aaron, when you're putting together the almanac, I would imagine all these stats you're tracking all through the season, so I wouldn't think that much about these teams surprises you. But that being said, when you're putting it together and you're looking back at their seasons, was there anything this year where you thought, wow, I'm a little surprised to see that? I had kind of forgotten about it, or maybe you uncovered something?
Forgot how good Arizona was underneath that 8-9 record. Really, The fact that Arizona was 11th on offense, I was like, wait, really? And then I went back and looked. I'm like, oh, yeah, they really were. Like, not, they had some bad luck, and that's what led to the 8-9, but they were better than their record, and that's why I think that they could be a team on the rise this year.
Whenever I hear some of the experts talk about last year's quarterback draft class, they always compare it to, I forgot what year it was, the Dan Marino draft class and all the names that were in that one. How special do you think this class can be? I mean, you look at the numbers and I'm sure projections or whatnot. Are they being realistic with those comparisons, or do you feel like this is a possibility?
Oh, yeah, this could be there's definitely a possibility that all 6 of the quarterbacks taken in the first round last year could end up as above average NFL starters, right? We don't know. We don't know what McCarthy's going to be. We haven't seen that much of Penix. We don't know if Caleb Williams can improve, but Bo Nix surprised. I think everybody believes that Drake May, if he was in a better situation, would have better stats, and Jaden Daniels was amazing. And that class from 83 wasn't perfect. A lot of guys got taken in the first round, but, Tony Eason kind of washed out of the league after a couple of years. Todd Blackledge washed out of the league after a couple of years. This class could be better than 83.
Looking over on the AFC side, the Chiefs offense last year, I feel like their team never quite matches up with like the overall narrative of the team, right? Like last year's offense was kind of like nickel and diming at times, but we still saw them as so elite because they won 15 games and you have Patrick Mahomes. What kind of weapons do they add this year? And do you expect them to be a greater offense? I feel so stupid asking they were in the Super Bowl, but do you expect them to take a step forward offensively this year?
Yeah, I think they're going to have worse luck and better offense. They're going to have guys healthy, right? Hopefully they're going to have Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice at the same time. That being said, Travis Kelce continues to get older. He was not really that great last year. He's going to be even older this year. He's reaching the end of the line. But Mahomes is special. Mahomes papers over a lot of problems. And so I think they're going to have, a top 5 offense again. What they're not going to have is like every game the other team blows a field goal or fumbles a snap or all the wacky things that got the Chiefs some ridiculously close wins last year. That's not going to happen.
Does Lamar get over the hump this year? Please tell me yes.
But here's the problem with Lamar Jackson getting over the hump. Only one of them can get over the hump between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. They can't both get over the hump. So the problem is that even if the Chiefs take a step back or even if they can beat the Chiefs, those two guys are standing in each other's way.
He is FTN Fantasy's Aaron Schatz. Aaron, thanks so much for the time, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.
The Almanac's at ftnfantasy.com/almanac. And also on FTN, check out for a stats subscription, promo code NFL15, good all weekend for 15% off.
Awesome stuff. Thank you.
All right.
Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Curtis and I knew that you would watch this. And we were hoping that you'd get some friends or go outside. But instead you watched the Hall of Fame game because you're a football freak. What's the best story from that game last night?
The best story, story B was Trey Lance. He looked good. 13 of 20, 120, and 2 touchdowns, and look composed. There was a play where he's looking downfield. He could have ran, but I was listening to the commentators say, look, he's making a conscious effort to stay in the pocket and try to work from there. But that wasn't the most impressive thing. The most impressive thing to me last night was the story of Tony Jefferson. All right, he's 33 years of age, and he is playing in this Hall of Fame game. He's not one of the veterans, not wearing pads.
Let's go.
He's out there. He was out of football for 2 to 3 years. He was becoming a scout for the NFL and said, you know what, I want to get back in the game.
I love that.
So he gets back in the game, and he has an interception. And I said, do it for the old heads. I'm a bit older than you, but do it for the old heads. You're 33 years of age. You're playing in the Hall of Fame game, a game that's reserved for young men trying to make the squad, not an old head who's bounced back and making plays out there. But I loved it, man. I like those stories, and that's something that I like most about preseason is that the commentators take time to tell you these guys' stories because we know who Herbert is. I mean, we know who, even Amarian Hampton, a guy who was drafted that high. We know those guys. Tell me about the guys that we don't know. So I appreciated that, man. I gave him a good one clap when I saw him 33 years of age making plays out there.
You know what I'll say? There is a way to watch the preseason and to watch exhibition games that's different from how you would watch regular football games. I love the football season. You love the football season. And I think that the number one thing I always see for a preseason game, I'm so bored. This game's pointless. Or I don't even know these guys. But if you go into it with a story focus, there are so many fascinating guys. You're not watching it to see, a bunch of 2025 All-Pros. Those guys are going to be sitting on the bench. You're watching it to see, someone who could eventually be a star, because there's going to be a lot of rookies out there. But also guys like that, where it's it's super easy to root for if you just found out the story first.
You got to treat it like a low-budget film. You going oh, what is this? But then it sparks your interest somehow.
Let yourself have fun.
Who cares that the lens is from 1998?
Right.
You know what I mean? Who cares that the acting is horrible? Someone's going to catch your eye and say, you know what? That's a star.
I watched one of those really awful movies, and I will say this is a bad example because it was horrible, but it was about a shark that broke through from the ground into a lake.
I think I see that.
It's the worst movie I've ever seen.
Through the ground into a lake.
In my entire life.
So it can switch over to fresh water, too. Huh?
Yes.
Talent.
It was like a megalodon. Second down. What do you like about the Panthers' preseason approach?
Coach Canales says Bryce Young will play in 2 games this preseason, and I like that. This is how he finished the regular season. 17 of 26, 158, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and an overtime win against the Cardinals. 15 of 28, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a loss to Tampa Bay. And then 25 for 34, 251, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and an overtime win against the Atlanta Falcons. He has to go out there and prove it. He's still in improvement mode. End of the season on a great note. You got to keep riding that wave because there is a guy who can replace you over there if you don't do your thing. His name is Andy Dalton. What's his nickname?
The Red Rifle.
There you go. The Red Rifle. Red Rifle.
I said it wrong last time. I know I can't say it anymore.
The Red Rifle is over there, and he will take your job if you're not producing. But I think that this is a good approach from Canales because this guy needs reps, man. And I know you're afraid to get your quarterback banged up. I understand that. He's your main investment. Well, he's still on a rookie contract, but potentially could be your main investment on this team. Now, I just hope that he throws Xavier Leggett out there a little bit. Just get him with his number ones. Get him with McMillan, Thielen, and Leggett when it comes to receivers. And let him play with guys he's actually going to play with because the bad approach would be to put him out there and he's playing with Jalen Coker, Hunter Renfrow, and Demo Swag. I love you guys. But they're number 2s for a reason. So I like the approach. Now make sure he has an opportunity to be successful with his guys out there. I wouldn't keep him out there longer than 2 or 3 series. So get him in, get him out, let him fill the game, and then you move on.
3rd down. What was the most shocking yet telling thing you heard from Tyreek Hill today?
Tyreek Hill said that, Tua called him out the other day and said, look, man, pretty much he needs to do better, show up and come to work, essentially. Not verbatim, but that's what he said. Tyreek Hill spoke to reporters and said, you know what, those comments were necessary. They were necessary. And he goes, I'm actually doing things I've never done before. I'm taking notes in class and in the film room. I didn't understand the offense until this year. And it's telling because that's how good that guy is, to where he don't have to know anything that's going on around him. If I just know what I'm supposed to do, or maybe he's asking in the huddle, hey, what do I have here? He's that good that he is going to make plays. A player of my caliber, I need to know what everyone is doing. Outside, inside, offensive line, just so I know where to be, what the timing is going to be. Like, I had to be so technical about this thing that my experience was completely different. That just shows the levels to this, man, that he wasn't even putting in the work, and he was still considered one of the best receivers in the game because he's so fast and his routes are on point. So can you imagine the potential that he has this year in year, 8, 9 for him? Just trying to figure this thing out. So I'm interested to see how this thing all plays out. But it almost makes me mad. I'm like, you're that good that you don't have to know the playbook like that or know the offense like that. Just focus on your position. So good luck this year, man. I'm glad Tua was a leader and called him out, though. You might get a different Tyreek Hill this year.
Yeah, good for Tua. It reminds me of Josh Gordon, all the things we would hear about him, where it's like, in part, sometimes with some elite athletes that are still able to thrive at a professional level just based on pure athleticism and ability and that rare talent, that you do once in a while have guys that give it their all, like Aaron Donald, crazy, preparation. And then you have like Josh Gordon, where it's like, oh, he keeps getting into trouble. And it's like, because he's never really had to be on top of things. He's so talented. It's crazy.
Yeah.
4th down. What's the most impressive thing you've seen in training camp so far?
So we've been here, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks now. And we've seen a lot of good plays. We've seen some mistakes as well. Drew Lock has looked good. Sam Darnold has his moments. The defense has been doing his thing. Nicky Mawari had another pick 6 the other day. But the most impressive thing in training camp happened today. Stacy is drinking water. Just plain water.
That was really your 4th down. You're not messing with me.
There's nothing in it. There's no flavor.
Because I was feeling lightheaded.
She is drinking water. She goes, Bum, I feel lightheaded. What's going on?
I got scared. I scared myself.
No,
I've gone onto this huge spiral where I've convinced myself that there's something wrong with my brain, that I'm dying, and I'm feeling scared. I've been tripping over my words today, and then Matt and Bump told me to drink water.
Drink water.
I've had half of this bottle.
I bet you're feeling better already.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not.
You're just not going to admit it.
Coming up next, a big update on Micah Parsons' standoff with the Cowboys.
Lyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
I was always a guy that, if I could get an interception, man.
How many did you have in your career?
3.
How many should you have had? If you, as you put it, if you didn't have frying pan hands.
Yeah, I would say probably double that. When I was in high school, I played in a state championship game. I had 2 interceptions in one game, and I was like, that was my favorite game. I just loved that.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
The 2025 Seahawks season is almost here. Get fitted for game days with jerseys, caps, and tees, including the 2025 training camp collection. Visit the Seahawks Pro Shop at the Landing in Renton and Lumen Field or online at Seahawks.com/pro shop.
Don't waste time trying to get rid of your old or broken car. Cars for Kids is the easiest and fastest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Go to carsforkids.org today. That's cars with a K.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Oh, it is the time of the season for pests. That's right. No one likes them. No one knows where they come from, but we can all agree no one wants them in their house. Mike Salk here for Crawl Pros, and they have a full-service pest control division now called Pest Pros. They can come to your house and do a full corner-to-corner inspection, take care of any problems, just like they did at my home. This is the time of the year you'll start seeing more ants in and around your home. You may also begin hearing a little buzzing outdoors. Bees, wasps, hornets. If they make a nest on your property, that is a huge nuisance. So please don't try to take care of those nests on your own. Simply call Pest Pros to have any nest removed and destroyed professionally before the problem grows or you and your guest ends up getting stung. Pest Pros is the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros with eco-friendly treatments to keep ants, stinging insects, and all sorts of critters from making their way into your home. If you're worried about rodents, ants, or other bugs or an issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit GoPestPros.com to schedule a free inspection at GoPestPros.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Looking for an epic summer night in Seattle? Be here for the Mariners Drone Show at T-Mobile Park, Friday, August 22nd, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
It is Grand Salami time. Cal Raleigh with his third Grand Slam of the season.
The team is taking on the A's at 7:10, and after the game, we'll be lighting up the sky with hundreds of drones, celebrating Mariners icons past and present. Don't miss out on a jaw-dropping post-game show.
He got him. He puts him away, and the ball game is over. Another phenomenal save by Andres Munoz.
Head to Mariners.com to grab your seats and see the full lineup of special events, including Kids Appreciation Day, Sunday, August 24th, and the Logan Gilbert Funko Pop giveaway, September 8th to 10th. Plus, check out a great slate of marquee interleague matchups against the Padres, Cardinals, and Dodgers.
Julio clubs this deep out to left field and gone. Julio for the second time.
Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
Brought to you by Integrated Rehabilitation Group.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
News in the timeline today. Fittingly, we were just talking earlier in the show about Micah Parsons, his standoff with the Cowboys, and the rumor that he could even request a trade. Well, that officially happened. Micah Parsons has requested a trade out of Dallas. He posted to his own X.com account. I'm not going to read the entire thing. It's a very long, normally the notes app on Twitter is like for an apology. This one is for obviously a trade announcement, but I'm not reading it all. But just so you know, it's a very long one. But he explained, I did everything I could to show I wanted to be a Cowboy and wear the star on my helmet. I wanted to play in front of the best fans in sports and make this America's team once again. However, he says, unfortunately, I no longer want to be here. I no longer want to be held to closed-door negotiations without my agent present. I no longer want shots taken at me for getting injured while laying it on the line for the organization, our fans, and my teammates. Just continues to kind of point out what he's really not liked about this negotiation process, and then clearly makes it, like that I want this trade request today. Also talks about Jerry Jones and a conversation he had with Jones to talk about leadership. He said somehow the conversation turned into him talking contract with me. I engaged in a back and forth in regards to what I wanted for my contract, but at no point did I believe this was supposed to be a formal negotiation. I informed him afterward my agent would reach out thinking this would get things done. But then when the agent reached out, he was told the deal was pretty much done. It sounds like it's being bungled by Dallas.
Yeah, someone used, is it Grok? Is that the AI thing everyone uses?
Yes.
Someone said, summarize this in one sentence, and it said, from Grok. Michael Parsons thanks Dallas and its fans, but requests a trade from the Cowboys, citing unproductive contract negotiations, unauthorized direct talks by ownership, repeated public shots at him, and a desire to no longer play amid ongoing frustrations. Sounds about right. If I am Micah Parsons, I might reach this too. I didn't think, like a week ago, there was no way that I thought that Micah Parsons would be requesting a trade or that a deal would not be done. But if you do not feel appreciated and you're one of the best at what you do, yeah, go to where you do feel appreciated. And also, we were talking off air, Dallas could get so much for Micah Parsons. But do you really want to do that? You've already paid Dak, you paid CD, you brought over George Pickens, you have to solidify this defense, and Micah Parsons is a huge part of that. Maybe they feel like they could accumulate a whole bunch of draft picks and do something like the Rams did and try to develop a young defensive line and box there. Who knows? But if I were the Dallas Cowboys, I'm doing what I can to make this thing work. But obviously, either they don't value Micah the same way that other teams do, or they just don't have the same respect, because it comes down to respect at the end of the day. Like, let's go about this negotiations the way you're supposed to go about it and just be honest with each other and stop delaying the process. That
Stephen Jones has not had a single conversation with Micah Parsons' agent is insane.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the most jarring thing to me, because it's not even me and my agent are going back and forth with the team. We just haven't reached a number. I don't think I'm going to find it here. Or where you had presumably DK maybe just wanted to kind of have a fresh start somewhere else or whatever. There's no interaction. The team has, and Stephen Jones talked to Micah, but Micah's like, I have an agent. I'm not negotiating my contract here. Please talk to my agent. And they're not. That's not actually a negotiation. That's just you ignoring your star.
It feels and sounds like they're trying to take advantage of Micah. Because as athletes, there are some guys who can represent themselves and do a great job at it. I mean, Bobby has done it, Sherman's done it, and a whole bunch of other guys have done it as well. They feel like they are capable of doing it. Maybe that's not Micah's cup of tea, and they know it's not his cup of tea, and they're trying to force him into a situation he doesn't want to be in. That's just disrespectful. He is represented. He pays this guy to have these conversations with you. Have conversations. It's almost like an adult trying to talk to a kid about something when you should clearly be going through the parent. Like, the parent is a representative of the situation. You talk to the parent. Why are you talking to this child? That's kind of what it feels like. Mike is not a child. He's a grown man, but he's paying someone to handle these conversations for him. I just don't get it. Do the Dallas Cowboys, do you go to sleep every night and not think about Micah Parsons and wake up and not think about Micah Parsons and how we're going to get this done? It's all, we got other stuff to do. No, you got Micah Parsons. Get this done.
What do you have to do? Now, we have in conversations about Trey Hendrickson had many people say, oh my God, the Seahawks, why not trade for Trey Hendrickson? And we've had reasons about why we don't think that's going to happen. This is a little bit different. In fact, Bump, when we've talked with both Brady Henderson and Brian Nemhauser on this show, we've asked both of them what position on this roster still feels a little incomplete or would you like to see them add? And they've both said outside backer, adding to this pass rush, doing something like that. Curtis, when we were talking about this earlier in the show, before the news that Micah had announced his own trade, trade request, you said, man, going after Parsons is different than going after Hendrickson.
Oh, absolutely. Because you're talking about somebody that's like 4 to 5 years younger than Trey Hendrickson, is already one of the most productive defensive players in the league, is just a game wrecker when he is out on the field. If I'm tail of the tape, if you could have Trey Hendrickson or Micah Parsons on the Seahawks going forward, give me Micah Parsons all day. And that's even knowing that the Cowboys are probably going to ask for a first-rounder, maybe even 2 first-rounders for him.
Bump, that being said, do you think the Cowboys actually deal him?
I didn't think we'd be here. I didn't think Michael would be requesting a trade. I didn't think that he would be without an extension right now. So I think that they're going to explore it. I think they're going to ask for an arm, a leg, a tooth, a heart, and everything in between. But I think they're going to explore it. You have to. You don't want a player there who doesn't want to be there. And even if you are to come to the table finally and say, okay, we'll give you what you want. No one wants that type of situation. Micah doesn't want to feel like he forced you into paying him. No, he wants to be rewarded for what he's doing. I talked about what players have done in projections. All right, he's done enough to warrant a big contract, and he's projected to do even more. He's prime for a big A contract. I don't know what they're doing. Let the man go if you don't want to respect him because the relationship has been tarnished.
When the Seahawks traded for Jamal Adams, he was still, I believe he was still in his rookie deal. He was only like 25 years old, and he still had that season and then the following season. After his first season here, in that offseason, Seattle then extended him. Brady mentioned that not since, I think, Percy has this team traded for a big name and then immediately given that extension. You'd have to do that with Micah.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have, it's not like, oh, this contract's up in 2026 and he's pushing for a new deal from Dallas. This is the final year of his contract. Right. And then he's an undrafted. There's no way he's playing this year without a new deal.
No, and he's getting paid around $22 to $24 million this year. And then technically the Cowboys could tag him for about $32, $33 million next year. That's probably the angle that they're going because Jerry put his foot in his mouth and said, look, well, guys get hurt all the time. So you're scared that you're going to sign him and he gets hurt. So what you want to do is have him play out this contract, then franchise tag him the next year and just kill his security when it comes to financials. I know people hear those dollars and be like, what are you talking about? No, when you have the potential to make hundreds of millions of dollars within the next couple years, you go for it. So this is it just keeps getting messier and messier.
Someone said, look what the Bears had to give up for Matt Crazy Hall. I don't know if Seattle does that. Well, Seattle's been willing to. Gave up 2 firsts for a safety. So I don't know. Okay, I'm sure we'll get back to this in NFL headlines. We only have another minute here, so let's get to another story. The Athletic reporting ESPN and the NFL have reached an agreement worth billions that will place many of the league's top media holdings with the network in exchange for equity in ESPN. That means ESPN's expected to become the home for Red Zone, NFL Network's 7 more regular season games, and NFL's fantasy football business. The deal's not expected to be finalized for another 9 to 12 months, so this wouldn't start until 2026. But story, a new home for the Red Zone.
Disney taking over everything.
Truly.
Disney is taking over the world, Craig.
Let's go. We'll get back to our NBA story later. This one's just faster and funny. While filming a promotional video, Kraken mascot Bowie was chased by a bear. I don't mean a black bear or even a bobcat, like a grizzly. While fly fishing with Kraken player John Hayden. Hayden explained what went down in Cut 11 since Bowie can't talk.
While we were fishing, we had a pretty close call with a couple bears. Right there.
Oh my God.
I want to blame it on Bowie. They were pretty interested in his whole look, so we got out of it okay, but it was a close call. That last little sprint, I was very briefly.
I think I credit Bowie with keeping his head on.
Here's the thing. His best bet was to keep his head on because the bear was already confused. Like, what is that over there? Then you take the head off. He goes, I've really never seen that before. What does that taste like? I'm going to go get it.
Do you think that if you're a mascot and you have the giant mascot heads, do you think you could survive a grizzly bear attack with that on if it couldn't come off? If it couldn't come off?
No.
If it couldn't come off?
No, Stacy, no. You know how strong those things are? It's ripping right through that thing.
Do you know how, but think of how much
Stacy,
padding, Curtis.
No. That Bowie's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know,
The bear's teeth are going to rip through that Bowie head in seconds.
I don't know.
Yes, we do know,
Torn to
Stacy.
smithereens.
Okay. Seahawks offensive coordinator. Oh, just kidding. IRG injury report. It's Friday. Brought to you by IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Charles Cross underwent surgery to repair a dislocated finger. Mike McDonald cut 12, talking about his timetable yesterday.
Charles had like a dislocated finger, long and short of it, but we felt like it was a good opportunity to just fix it so we didn't have to worry about it once it heals. So we're looking at a couple few weeks here, expecting to be back before the San Francisco game, sometime between the Green Bay game and the first week. So we felt like this is a good opportunity to get him right.
And Bryce Miller, good news for Mariners fans here, will pitch in a rehab assignment for Tacoma. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Seahawks offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak is going to join us live at Virginia Mason Athletic Center, where the Seahawks are going to kick off practice in about an hour and a half. Coming up next, what we want to learn from Klint, our questions about this year's Seahawks offense. And we're opening it up to you guys, too, if you've got questions for Klint Kubiak, 866-979-3776.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Welcome to IRG Sports Injury Update. We're with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and president of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. And our guest, Dr. Ron Gregish, board-certified orthopedic surgeon specializing in arthroscopic surgery and sports medicine with Pro Ortho in Kirkland.
Dr. Gregish, thanks again for joining us. Tell us that athlete that just has that chronic hip pain, maybe it's not going away with rest. What could be going on there?
Frequently, those athletes have a hip labral tear as well as something called femoroacetabular impingement or hip impingement. Oh, I could spend hours talking about this, but just in a nutshell, femoroacetabular impingement or FAI occurs when there's extra bone kind of in the front part of the hip, either on the femur side or the hip socket side, that'll rub when the hip goes into deep flexion when you bring the leg up. The reason we think it's so common in athletes is because of those positions that athletes need to get into. NFL linemen, hockey goalies, even basketball players get it. And once you develop the symptoms, it's really hard to get rid of it, oftentimes without surgery, especially as an athlete.
It's a mechanical problem. It's an impingement where you're talking about the ball and socket, but there's something going on mechanically in there, and that's impinging, whether it's a labrum or a bony impingement, and it has to be corrected. You do that correction through a scope now, right?
That's right. We can treat that arthroscopically. We shave down the bony impingement problem and repair the labrum to treat it typically.
What's the return to play from most of these athletes?
It's long. Return to play can usually take 9 months to a year, and also return to play, only about 75-80% of athletes ever get to the same level they played at before.
The nice thing about it, there's an option today in this scope procedure of these hips. If you want more information regarding hip pain, you can contact Dr. Gregish at proortho.com.
With over 40 neighborhood clinics around Washington, IRG has you covered. Let IRG be your family's physical therapist. Find the location nearest you at irgpt.com. That's irgpt.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at winning 4 tickets to see the Seattle Seahawks host the Kansas City Chiefs on August 15th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 30th through August 4th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. From the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you. Which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots. On us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year. You guessed it. On us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/22/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited interline apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bowie was chased by a grizzly bear, made it out alive, so that's good. Both you and Curtis said there's no way that Bowie survives. And I said, but that mascot head there's a lot of padding. Like maybe if he keeps it on, he's safe against a grizzly bear attack. You guys disagreed. 253 says, okay, but 100 mascots versus a bear.
We're doing that. Here's the thing.
I think you might need 200 mascots against a bear.
No.
You know how your brain works, Stacy? Your brain works like you believe in movies when people get punched and they're not bruised or bloody or anything. Like, that's the way
I've never
you
been
see
in a
it.
fight.
It's like, no, right? I mean, we've seen plenty of movies where people make it out just fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I've seen The Revenant. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just, I guess maybe I have faith in Bowie.
You do.
Or 10 buoys. We're going to have Seahawks offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak join us live from Seahawks training camp in 15 minutes. We thought that in addition to talking about the questions we have about this year's offense, some of them we're not going to ask Klint. It's just questions where we're like, they're not directed questions. What's the run game going to look like? And then we have some questions we do want to ask
Nah,
Klint.
I'm going to be like, hey, 31.
What are you doing?
Fourth quarter against the Rams for the division.
And then we have questions we do want to ask Klint. So we wanted to open it up for you guys. If you have a couple, we're probably only going to be able to take a couple, but I'm keeping my eyes open for them. 866-979-3776. What are you excited? You're probably really, really excited to talk to Klint. You probably wish you could talk off record about some of this stuff.
I wish
he's got to be limited in what he can say.
I wish I could sit in a room and just watch film with him.
Yeah.
And just see how his brain works. I had the privilege, even though y'all probably didn't like him, I had the privilege to do that with Shane Waldron, and that was fun. Dude knows his football. Yeah, I mean, it's just specific questions. You know, I don't want to give away too much because I want to save it for when we sit down. But obviously some personnel questions, some formation questions, and some philosophy. You know, we know his lineage, right, where he comes from, but who else has influenced him throughout his journey to get to this moment here? And he also had a brief encounter with Mike McDonald. I believe Coach McDonald said they worked together for a year somewhere. So I'm asking him about that too, and just what he thinks about Seattle, because we're the only ones we're lucky enough to talk to him on air. I mean, we got him first when he got the job, and now we're getting him a few months later. So just how things have changed for him too while he's been here.
Well, what's cool is the first time we talked to him, he had just been hired, and so it was a very kind of, what do you know about Seattle?
Right.
We're talking about a different team a little bit now that we're talking to him here about, like, not only do we know more about these players, there are some players that are now gone. We're talking about having been out there at camp, watching Ken, watching a few of these guys. JSN looks great so far. This team did not have Milroe on the roster when we talked to Kubiak the first time. They didn't have Arroyo. So kind of maybe finding out what he feels about some of the weapons that we didn't even get to talk to him about.
Yeah, exactly, because this team has a different look at this point. And every day in camp, every day during OTAs and mini camps, you learn more about your team. You learn more about what they can do, what they can't do, what you need to work on, what you're excellent at, what you need to table for later. It just changes your process because every coach goes in with an install script. Okay, we're going to install these 4 or 5 plays on this day, and that day. And sometimes things change. And a lot of coaches discover new ideas and stuff, too, during this whole process. And talk to their mentors and watch film of different teams or different situations and start to tweak their offense or maybe even their language a little bit. So adjustments are constantly being made, not only on Sundays or Thursdays and Mondays when these guys are playing. Adjustments are made throughout the week during training camp. And I think that's why Mike McDonald yesterday or the day before said training camp is his favorite time of the year because you get to really mold your team into what you want them or need them to be.
This is a fascinating question from Joe in Bellevue. I'd like to know how a defensive head coach like Mike contributes to the offensive plan. Genuinely, one of the things I'm curious about is how often coaches, and this is probably applies to being players too. Like if you're a receiver, how often do you have a cornerback say, hey, when you do this, blah, blah, blah. You know, like how often does Mike McDonald look over Klint's plan and say, here's how I would beat this?
All the time. Those are the greatest conversations I've ever had, sitting there, me being an offensive coordinator and going up against a defensive coordinator and saying, okay, how would you stop this? How would you stop that? Because when you do those exercises, the person that wins when you're talking about offense versus defenses is always going to be the last person with a marker in their hand because you're going to be able to make adjustments, right? But those back and forths and those conversations make you see things differently because at the end of the day, the 11 men on both sides of the ball are going to really affect the play. You can set them up to have success, but they're going to have to execute. And you could have the perfect defense lined up for this offense, but one false step, you're done. You can have the perfect offense lined up for this defense, but one false step, you are done. But it invokes just deep thought, and maybe it creates just challenges. And that's what a game is throughout the first or fourth quarter. How do you get over this challenge? How do you get over that challenge? On paper, the human beings got to go out there and execute it.
I think another twist on this question is just how involved McDonald is, and I don't know a tactful way to ask it, so we'll see if we can get it from his answer. But the feeling I had heading into last year, Bump, was, okay, Mike McDonald's coming in as the defensive guy. He's also going to be the defensive play caller, and that Ryan Grubb is going to have almost full autonomy over the offense. I wonder if this year Mike McDonald, after seeing that last year wasn't really the offense he wanted, is now like, no, I'm the head coach. I'm going to go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, we would critique Pete Carroll about, like, maybe feeling like at times he overstepped. But, like, as a head coach, you want your tone, the goal on offense and defense to align. Even if, you know, you have different units or whatever. Like, I don't think you want to give up full autonomy of one half of your club as a head coach. I wonder if part of what he's doing this year is also saying, I want a little bit more of my fingerprint on this offense.
I'm sure, and I hope he does. I hope he does. But you got to allow your coordinator to do his thing and to grow, but you're the head coach, and he checks in with you. So if you don't see something or you see something you don't like, then you talk about it.
All right. So Klint Kubiak is going to join us next from Seahawks training camp. Don't go anywhere.
Blue 88, every day at 7:45 on Brock and Salk.
What are you hearing with these young Seahawks?
Yeah, the words I continue to hear, betting on themselves. They're betting on themselves because these college kids are coming into the league with millions, you know. But if you're Kobe Bryant, are you going to say, hey, man, on this defense, I'm going to be a great player. I'm going to go to the market, and I'm going to have 31 other teams bidding for me rather than taking it now.
Blue 88 on Seattle Sports. Get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're here 24/7. 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Crawl space and attics are not places you want to spend much time, but many homes in our area can have serious issues behind the hatches. Hi, it's the owner of Crawl Pros, Richard Herron. For years, you've heard us talking about how we go where you don't want to. With our free corner-to-corner inspection to keep your crawl space and attic well insulated and free of mold and water. You've also heard about the pest control division of our company to keep your home bug and critter free. I'm excited to tell you about our newest division, Plumber Pros. Plumber Pros takes the same customer-first approach to plumbing that we do with our crawl space, attic, and pest control work. We've handpicked skilled plumbers that I know you'll feel comfortable inviting into your home. So next time you run into plumbing issues, from leaky faucets and clogged drains to full home repipes and sub pump installations, call Crawl Pros and we'll get our plumbing division, Plumber Pros, out to get it resolved. For anything related to your crawl space, attic, pest control, or plumbing, Call Crawl Pros or visit us at crawlpros.com.
Top Fitness Stores, the Puget Sound's premier fitness equipment store, is having a summer sale. Right now, they're offering the Inspire FT2 functional trainer at $2,000 off. Check out Precore's new 500 series treadmills and ellipticals. They're also offering the Inspire T5 fold-up treadmill at $500 off. Do you have an empty room in your house? Give Top Fitness your room dimensions and they'll do a complete fitness room design. Top Fitness also has the flooring to complete the fitness space you dream of. As always, get the best advice and service from the team of experts at Top Fitness with professional delivery and assembly. It's no secret that everyone from personal trainers to professional athletes loves Top Fitness. From simple items like weights and accessories to complete home gym packages. Check out the summer event now. Top Fitness has locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue. Or visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at PCF Construction. If you're seeking a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, maybe a new deck, patio cover, railings, well, my friends at PCF have you covered. This summer, well, you can enjoy 12 months of no interest and no payments. And how about this? Plus 50% off a design and architectural drawing package or up to $5,000 off an undercover system. If you're looking at your outside and saying, golly, what a beautiful summer in the Pacific Northwest, and we can't take advantage of it, well, take advantage of these offers today. If you've been wanting that new deck, that new patio cover, make the call. Get online right now and connect with my friends at PCF. You can find all the offer details. You can get project ideas, and you can browse photos at pcfgroup.com or call today at 425-629-8476. Don't let this offer pass you by. It's 425-629-8476.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin has requested a trade per ESPN. McLaurin and Washington remain far apart. Negotiations for a contract extension with McLaurin, presumably looking for a deal that matches or surpasses the one signed by DK Metcalf. McLaurin reported to camp Sunday and has still been appearing on the sidelines after practice this week.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We are live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center, where new Seahawks offensive coordinator, but been here a couple months now. Klint Kubiak is set to join us to talk about how camp's been so far. Well, I'd love to get detailed answers about certain things. He's going to be limited in not only what he can, but probably what he actually wants to say about this team.
Right.
That being said, Bump, before Klint joins us, are you, based on what you've seen, expecting a different feeling, a different flavor this year?
Yeah, most definitely. We better, right? That's why Grubb isn't here right now, because the flow just wasn't the same. He wasn't getting the same execution in the run game. They weren't marrying the run game with the pass, as the big homie Big Ray says. Yeah, we should expect a different flow. We should expect a different feel, but it's not going to be just smooth. This is what we expect to see. And for the most part, the coordinators are going to get their guys ready for those situations. But every now and then, the defense is going to come out with something a bit different. They're going to use their nickel a bit different. They're going to shift the line of scrimmage a bit. There are just things that happen week to week that you just can't prepare for. So that's why you have all those coaches in the booth. That's why you have coaches on the sideline, because they're giving back this data and this information. And now you use your Bible, right? Your offensive coordinator, your book, to make the necessary adjustments and combat what the defense is doing.
Again, Clint's going to join us about 3-ish minutes from now. Is there a weapon on this offense that, were you Kubiak, you'd be especially excited to use? Maybe something different from what he's had in Minnesota or New Orleans?
Oh, man, well, in New Orleans, he had the gadget of all times in Taysom Hill. And you don't necessarily have that, but I've been highlighting this guy for, a few weeks now. in Arroyo, you have a guy who can do what most tight ends aren't capable of doing. So how do you use his skill set? If you can get him to become an excellent blocker, you can even mess around and put him back there as a fullback to confuse the defense and find certain type of matchups. We saw Grubb kind of experiment with that a little bit last year with 2 tight ends in the backfield, but just didn't really build off of that. So, yeah, I'm interested to see and evaluate what he does with the young man, Arroyo.
I'm excited to ask what he's seen from Arroyo so far in camp. Klint joining us
good to see you
right now. Hey, good to see you. Again, joined now by Seahawks offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak, live from Seahawks training camp at Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Klint, I'll let you know, we have a couple questions from listeners we'll get to at the end.
Okay, sounds good.
We left this one open to some Seahawks fans that wanted to ask you a few. We'll start with ours, though, and one of mine is, I think that when you ask people, hey, what's the goal of your offense or your team, obviously to win games and score points, but I find that coordinators also have really specific goals about a feeling that they want or a vibe. Like if you ask a defensive coordinator, he might say, my goal is to be chaotic or have violence. What's your goal for your offense?
Well, I would go back to Coach McDonald's goal is for us to be connected. That's a really big thing that he harps, and it's a big part of how we meet, and so it's really important that we meet together quite a bit offensively, that we're all on the same page, we're all speaking the same language, we're holding each other accountable together. The quarterback knows the tackle's responsibility, the tight ends know what the receivers' route adjustments are, and so it's being connected is really important for us right now.
I've fallen in love with the tight end position over the last couple years, and then watching how you use them over with the Saints. I'm starting to see what your goal is here. Like, physically and mentally, what do you need from your tight end? Because I feel like they're going to be a big part of your offense this year.
Yeah, you know, they're some of the smartest guys on the team because they're involved in every facet of the game, blocking protections, run game, ID, getting open in the pass game, seeing coverage. So you got to be really intelligent to play that position and just a really physical player, and we have some very physical guys, which we're really excited about.
Branching off from Bump's question, would you mind talking about maybe each of those guys, beginning with obviously Barner, who's been here a year now, and then you obviously have Arroyo.
Well, you know, AJ has had a really good camp, and every opportunity that he's had, he's made to play. A lot of contested plays, but he's doing a lot of dirty work blocking in the run game that's helping us spring some big runs. And I just love his mentality. He's all football. You know, he loves the game, loves to compete. And he's just one of my favorite guys out there because when he gets going, he gets excited. The whole group just starts to light up. And we have a guy named Eric Saubert, a veteran that's playing really good football that is a really great role model for Elijah and the young guys because he's exactly what a pro should do, how he approaches the game, and just his overall physicality.
One of the things I love about football and receivers in general is that football, you can find every type of man out there. The big, wide one, the small, skinny one, and especially at receiver. I look at your receiver core, and we spoke to MVS about this. You got a bunch of different type of receivers that bring different things to the table. What does that versatility do for you when you're calling plays?
Yeah, you know, we got guys that can take the top off. We got guys that are really good inside. We got guys that do both really well, and we're really honestly moving them around a lot to see to get a better feel for what they do best. But I think overall the coolest thing about our receiver group is that they've really bought into the run game, and they have been really physical and helping us spring some big runs, and that helps them a lot in the play-action game. So Coach Frisman Jackson does a phenomenal job of, you know, making them complete receivers.
Speaking of moving them around, I was out here day one, and I saw so many formations, so much movement, and I told myself, this doesn't look like a day one of training camp. It felt like you got so much in already. Was that because of the work that they did in OTAs and minicamp, and have you been this far ahead before in a training camp?
No, I think it's just a credit to we have some really intelligent guys. You know, we put a lot on their plate, and we really throw a lot at them, way more than we would in one game plan. And we see what they can absorb and what they can take into practice, and that gives us good intel for what we can take into a game. But that's part of the plan is to make it harder on them, and our guys have done a great job responding.
We were speaking with Jake Bobo the other day, and he said one thing he really loves and appreciates about Mike McDonald is this kind of open door policy of, if you have a question, stop by my office. And I was surprised in our interviews with your guys' players how many guys are getting one-on-one time with coaches and coordinators. Do you have a similar kind of open door policy? And if so, who visits you the most?
Yeah, you know, I think we're connected. We're a team. You know, it's none of us can be successful without the other. So I think that's something that Mike really, the culture that he's built here, that's something that we're about as coaches upstairs. If we don't see guys coming and seeing us, we think that's probably a bad thing. They don't have any questions. So it starts from the top down. And, we got some really good guys like Jake Bobo and Cooper Kupp, A.J. Barner, Charbonnet. Like, these guys are pros, and they want to get better, and being great is really important to them, and they will do whatever it takes, and that includes coming upstairs and having some good conversations.
That's cool.
Everyone talks about the wide zone, and I remind people, I guarantee you Kubiak's going to call more than just the wide zone, but that's probably going to be the jab that he throws at teams to kind of loosen them up a little bit. What do you like so much about the wide zone, and how does this set up everything else you're trying to do?
Yeah, well, I think you got to have a starting point, right? And that's our starting point, and we got plays off those runs. But the ability to give guys some pretty clear, concise, consistent coaching points that we can call one run probably 7 different ways, but it's always the same coaching point for the back, or always the same way that the line's blocking in certain fronts. So we can give them cumulative reps to start building confidence. I think that's what's cool about the scheme is there's plenty of different play calls, but at the end of the day, our tracks are similar, our targets are similar, how we teach the quarterback to boot away is similar, and how the keepers should match those, and our play actions should match the inside zone. So this is something we preach all the time, is that if it's all looking the same, then we'll be hard to defend. If we start giving tells away, then we're going to be in trouble.
How are you feeling about your O-line?
I feel great. Our guys are doing a great job. Charles Cross obviously had a little setback, but he's going to be back. He's a great leader. We have some position battles going on there. It's very competitive, which makes for very spirited practices.
This question's from my son. So I told him I was going to interview you yesterday. And I go, what do you want me to ask him? And he just came back from a tournament. And I wasn't there. I'm talking to him. I'm like, how you feeling? He goes, Dad, I was in the flow state. I was feeling it, boom, boom. He goes, ask Coach what it feels like when he's in the flow state calling games. Like, what does that feel like?
Yeah, it's just like you in your playing days, when the game gets going and you're just reacting, and you can kind of just feel that who's in the game. I'm getting a feel for who's in the game and who we're trying to get the ball to, and what the defense is doing. There's substitution patterns, and those are things you work on with your coaching staff throughout the week. And you try to play the game way before you get on the field, and you get your call sheet out. And we've already talked about these problems, and now we're just solving them in real time. But hopefully there's not many surprises, because that's what the week's for.
On the flip side, all right, now sometimes there are surprises, right? I was telling Stacy, you come out on your game plan on 1st and 10, this down and this is what we expect the defense to line up in. Then they come out in something different. What's the communication like with you and your coaching staff to kind of prepare those guys for a situation that you necessarily didn't prepare for?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the NFL evolving right now. Defenses do that. That's just part of the norm, just the amount of fronts and coverages that we get. So that's things we're always talking about upstairs in our meeting rooms is, okay, here's what we expect. What do we do when they change defense personnel, or they get into a different front, or we get this pressure? What's our can? What's the alert? Or how do we call a play that defeats all those things so our players can play fast? So those are just conversations we're always having.
We had a listener who wanted to know, and this might be part of your answer, how a defensive head coach contributes to the offensive plan. And I think that they mean that in multiple ways. So it could be sitting down, right, and saying, like, do you ever sit with Mike McDonald and it's like, well, how would you beat this?
Yeah.
Like, what do those conversations look like?
No, every day, Coach has really made myself and our staff so much better, because he asks some really hard questions, and he demands answers and have the right ones. So he puts a lot of strain on us to make sure we're covering all our bases. And every day in practice, they got something new that goes in that gives us problems. So they just make us a lot better. We have an elite defense, so offensively, it's going to make us all more successful this year because we face it every day.
I told Stacy in those situations, I just want to be the last coach with a marker in my hand. You know what I mean? Because it feels like the one who finishes will have the win in that situation. But talk to me about the young Milroe. I think I want to give props to Drew Lock. A lot of people skip over Drew Lock, obviously, because you got Sam Darnold and you draft Milroe. So big ups to Drew Lock. I think he looks good out here today. But how has Milroe grown over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, he's grown quite a bit. Since the moment he got here, he lives in this building. He is tireless. He's, when the guys go home, he's here doing the virtual reality on his own. It's really important to him to be successful, and he's going to give every ounce of his ability to make sure that happens. And he does it all with a phenomenal attitude and big heart. So I really enjoyed coaching him.
Do you put on the VR too?
I've tried it, but no.
Not for you.
We got other stuff to do. We got the film to watch.
We had another listener who, given you guys are focusing a lot on reestablishing your run game this year, they just want to know to you what qualities make up an elite running back in today's game.
Number one is intelligence. Number two is longevity, or just availability. Guys that are available for the whole game. The best backs that I've been around are super smart. The guys that can. We give them difficult game plans, and they can go out and make adjustments. And then we got, our top two guys are doing some really good things. But Devin Charbonnet, the way that his mental approach to the game is extremely impressive. He does not flinch. If he ever has a question, you didn't coach it good enough, because he's that on it. So, really been impressed with him.
Do you have a coach that you kind of lean on whenever you need some advice? That's not on the staff, maybe someone out in the league.
No, our staff is phenomenal. I lean on every one of our guys. But my dad's always one call away, staying in touch with him. But usually when he calls, we try to keep it more about life and less about football.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Probably good to get a reprieve in general, because there's probably a lot that you want to talk about when it comes to life, kind of outside of the game in general. Last one for me. We had a great conversation with Cooper Kupp about just how the league has evolved and what he really appreciates about it. And I'm wondering for you, what you just really appreciate about even the last, I feel like 5, 6, 7 years, kind of what the league has become and what you've really taken from it and appreciate about it.
Yeah, I think there's just so many more people involved. There's our coaching staffs are really big, and there's so many ways to utilize everybody on the staff. There's so much film to watch. It's not just a 4-game breakdown anymore. You got to break down every game they play. You got to know everything that they've done. There's no excuse for not knowing situations that could come up, because it's just all cataloged on the film so quickly. So I just think that the data side of the game has made the game change quite a bit.
Last one for me. How's your family liking it up here? I know we talked to you when you first landed. I feel like you were just here for hours, and then we're asking you all these questions about Seattle. But how's the fam doing, and how are they liking it up here?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking that. They're loving it. Yeah, we've had a beautiful summer here. My kids got to come out to 2 practices and see their smiles on their face when they see, all the players out here, and getting to Coach McDonald lets the families come out, and that's just, not every team does that. So. You don't get much time with your family, so when you get to see your kids before practice and you see them interact with players after practice, it just really lifts me up. I told our guys the other day, they have no idea how big of an effect they have on these kids when they go and sign a kid's hat. Just to see their face light up, my kid's face light up, it just changes their whole day. So we just remind those guys that, hey, this is way more bigger than football. It's bigger than your job, and having an impact on young people is a huge blessing that they get to give every day.
I feel like the best thing is to look at the kids after the players walked away, and they're usually just looking around in awe. I can't believe it. Coach, we're staying in segment, but we appreciate your time. You've been very generous. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Seahawks offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak. Our coverage of Seahawks training camp brought to you by The Landing in Renton. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Micah Parsons has officially requested a trade from the Cowboys. What's the real headline?
Other than everyone, who could have possibly seen this coming?
Come on now. I mean, if I were the best, arguably the best defensive player in the league, and I'm sitting here begging, putting my emotions out there, letting it be known that I want to be with this organization, and I'm not getting a phone call, then I'm trying to be manipulated. They're trying to talk to me and not my agent. It's just the wrong way to do business. And at some point, you felt like this was going to happen. Now, last week when this news broke, or we heard that there was frustration, or even a couple weeks ago, I never thought the Cowboys would be to this point. I never thought they'd be so just arrogant to think that one of the best in the game is going to stick around and take this nonsense. So good for him. Request your trade. You go where you are wanted, and the Cowboys aren't making them feel that way.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin has also requested a trade after both sides have been unable to reach a new deal. What's the real headline?
It turns out the scariest Terry is the one that isn't there.
He's 30 years of age. He's had 5 or 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's done this with 13 different quarterbacks, and yet the Commanders aren't making him feel valued either. You think you can go out there and just find another McLaurin? No, these guys are signed already. They're in camp. They're working with their teams, and he should be working with them too. Just another example of ownership and the GMs is not respecting what a guy has done. Him being 30, I think, plays into this. They're afraid that he's going to get banged up. They don't want to pay him 3 or 4 years down the line, but we feel like he's earned and deserved that. You know what? Again, you don't feel appreciated. You're one of the best in the game. You put it out there, and you go find someone who loves you the way you need to be loved.
I think you also have to be very honest, even as a fan, about the leverage that a player might have. So, for instance, let's pretend that Cooper Kupp was still on the Rams the Rams squad, and let's pretend that the Rams were able to get Devontae Adams, and now they've got Adams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, a lot of offensive weapons, and Kupp is angry and he wants a new contract. Well, sure, you're going to have some Rams fans going, "Oh, Kupp's getting a little older. You have these other guys, blah, blah, blah." Like, that's not a ton of leverage. In Terry's case, not only is he clearly not falling off, he had a great year last year, there's no one else. He has all the leverage.
All of it.
I mean, there is no one else.
Got Amari Cooper out there.
Yes,
Keenan Allen.
He has been by far their most consistent contributor. He was their leading receiver last year, and it wasn't particularly close. I don't even think the player who was second in yards was a wide receiver. It was tight end Zach Ertz, and it was 654 compared to over 1,000 for Terry McLaurin. So Terry McLaurin is the centerpiece of that offense. And another bit of leverage in his case, this isn't a team that's rebuilding. This is a team that wants to take advantage of having been in an NFC Conference Championship last year. Their offensive line outperforming expectations. They've got this young rookie quarterback. They should be on the way up. That's in Terry's favor.
They're in a prove-it year. Like, yes, it was great watching them do their thing last year. It was great seeing them get to the conference championship. But even I question if they can do it again. And that question mark gets a little bigger if you don't have Terry over there. So, again, I don't understand the method behind this madness that the Commanders and the Cowboys are doing. But they must feel like there's someone else out there that can fill that role, and I couldn't disagree more.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Seahawks left tackle Charles Cross had surgery to repair a dislocated finger but is expected to return by the start of the regular season. What's the real headline?
Can we expect the rest of the offensive line to be ready for the start of the regular season? We were able just now to talk to Klint Kubiak Bump and ask how he feels about his O-line. What'd you make of his answer, and how are you feeling?
Yeah, they'll be ready. They'll be there. They'll have the X's and O's. they'll know what to do. Their alignment will be on point. But then it's like, all right, when it's a man on man, 300 pound versus 300 pounds, can you move people? Can you get to the linebackers? I think they'll be ready to go. But it's about executing. And I misspoke earlier. They did draft a couple tackles as well, so they're in there competing for the job. But if Cross isn't in there, it does look a bit different and feel a bit different. When Abe and Charles Cross are playing together, that offensive line feels better. You still need your interior offensive lineman to execute. Olu looks like he's has a charge at that at the center spot. You got Zabel at the other guard. The other guard is up for competition. They'll be ready. But will they execute?
I think that the addition of Grey Zabel, though you don't want to count on rookies, but he's talented. I think the addition of Grey Zabel and a healthy Abe Lucas do make a pretty big difference with this offensive line. However, that being said, how much does just scheme alone, how much could Klint Kubiak's offense alone help make it a little easier on the offensive line?
We talked about, he talked about the consistency and what that does. He's obviously going to run different type of runs, but when you get guys to the right points and the angles are on point and you're showing a team the same thing over and over again, now you're able to build off of that. So there has to be some type of confidence with this offensive line, knowing like, look, we're going to run some other plays, but this is our jab. And if we can get really good at this jab, that hook is going to be set up, the uppercut is going to be set up, everything else after that will be good to go. So just being consistent, all right, do something great. If you can run that scheme great with that wide zone, everything else should fall into place.
Really, really excited to just see what it's like. You can't wait to get to the season. Right. I'm excited for the preseason. I think these are really cool storylines we're watching. We're going to watch, I think, some surprises. We're going to get a good look at what's looks like a really encouraging, really freakishly athletic rookie class. Yep. It's all going to be fun, but I cannot wait to get this thing started. And you get a big test against the 49ers with like mirroring offenses a little bit in schemes. So
I love it.
Yep. The Seahawks are closing in on the preseason, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks game on Friday, August 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. This contest runs through Monday, August 4th. Taking a look around the NFL next.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passett with Brock and Salk.
Let's start with Josh Naylor. We haven't had a chance talked to you since the Mariners made the deal.
I love the attitude. Josh Naylor is like the classic. You love him when he's your teammate. You might not when he's not. I like adding a little bit of attitude to this team. He just fits everything so perfectly. Fit a position of need at first base. Added another guy who has really good bat-to-ball skills.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. It's a beautiful day out here in training camp, but if you're not here, I got something for you to do. Get on I-5, go north, get up on exit 260, and you will find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great place to get away, to recharge, and get your mind right. I've done it several times, and it works. They also have comfortable rooms. They're big, they're spacious. You got free Wi-Fi. You also have tablets as well. When you're done, you unpack. You go downstairs to the steakhouse and the cantina. The food is on point, too. And if you want to watch the game, go to Porter's Bay Sports Bar. Sit down, have a drink, watch the game. The vibes are on point. And to all of my golfers, Loomis Trails Golf Course is a beast. 18 holes with water almost everywhere. Hit the ball straight. They got promos going on as well. This month you can get $10,000 every Saturday with a grand prize of $50,000. They have great events as well. If you're looking for those events, go to silverreefcasino.com. Silver Reef Casino. It's not a secret anymore.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Summer can be the best time of the year, but if it's not feeling good in your house, if it's turning into an oven, some of the problems might be because you don't have enough insulation in your crawl space or attic. In fact, many homes in our region have damaged insulation or even none at all. Yeah, it's Mike Salk here, and you got to get somebody to check on it. That's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and do a full corner-to-corner inspection of your crawl space and attic. And if it turns out that you've got a problem with your insulation and maybe that's leading to bigger energy bills, guess what? Local utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost of getting your house properly insulated. In fact, if you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to get your attic properly insulated. Yep, 95%. Call Crawl Pros if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic. Schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, Micah Parsons officially announced that he's requested a trade, submitted the trade request to Stephen Jones himself. He said that the Cowboys and Jones haven't even spoken to his agent, so he doesn't know what these negotiations are about, that maybe they've approached him, Micah, about it in meetings, about separate things, but they have not talked to his agent about a new contract. So, yeah, I'd probably be a little bothered, too.
Hey.
Oh, yes.
How do you ask, my cousins were coming over, they want to stay the night? They didn't ask me if they could stay tonight. They had to ask my mom if they could stay tonight.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
You got to know what you're doing there. That's what this feels like.
That's exactly
ask
right.
your mom.
CeeDee Lamb, Micah's teammate, sounding off about it. He's now weighed in saying, quote, "Never fails, dog. Just pay the man what you owe him. No need for the extracurricular."
He goes, yeah, I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
So did Dak.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing? Just pay him. By holding off on paying him, you're not going to pay him less. If anything, you're going to pay him more and more and more because his value becomes higher. Now, if they are really trying to ship him and see what they can get, they're going to ask for a lot, and they might get a lot from somebody. But why not just get or keep one of the best players in the game on your team? CeeDee Lamb, talk to him. And if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm going to the office as well and making sure they hear me.
Also, look, sometimes when you hear fans or critics push back against giving extensions, it's what we've seen with a little bit of Terry McLaurin and certainly with Trey Hendrickson. It's about age. Micah Parsons is 26.
Youngster.
This is like you draft someone like this who then blossoms on their rookie deal in order to give them that contract. Like that's kind of just this natural progression. Like you knew 2 years ago you'd have to give him this deal or that you probably would be. Maybe you didn't know exactly what the number would look like or just how great he would be, but like you should have known. This was stuff we were talking about with the Dak contract, and then they're going to have to pay Micah Parsons. Why haven't they?
You guys are too smart for this, guys. And you know what? Now I hope he plays for a different team. I'm sorry for my Cowboys fan who's listening out there, but now I'm just like, all right, if y'all don't want to respect him, someone else is.
The 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame class gets enshrined this week. Congratulations again. That means cornerback Eric Allen, defensive end Jared Allen, tight end Antonio Gates, and wide receiver Sterling Sharp.
I am washed. I watched all these dudes play. I feel like just the other day, Jared Allen was doing the rodeo celebration. Just the other day, Antonio Gates was boxing dudes out in the red zone. Just the other day, Sterling Sharp was running down the sideline making other plays. I'm washed, but it was also fun watching these guys. And honestly, that's probably only the second or third time I watched like their the ceremony of them walking onto the field and stuff. And the older I get, the more I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm washed.
What's gonna get me are members of the Legion of Boom because they're not even players where it's like, oh, I used to watch them growing up. Like I've interviewed them.
Yeah.
I was a working adult when they were adults, and I interviewed them. And what do you mean they're in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Certainly not. No, because I'm a child.
But here's the thing. Think of it this way. Football careers are pretty much done when you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
So it's not like they put in 20, 25 years and now they're getting inducted. So, you just use that and maybe you'll think about it a bit differently.
Just going back to that theme of age, it is really interesting how often we see that cutoff at 30 because while you are right, and age is like one of the primary factors when it comes to weighing the value of a player and kind of when that decline starts and that overwhelmingly it is around 30, there are players that play beyond that and not just quarterbacks. And I wonder if the league is going to continue to reward. I'm really interested to see what happens with Trey Hendrickson is what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm really interested to see that. I'm interested to see what happens with Terry McLaurin is what I'm saying. Because both of those guys are 30 or on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah. For the person who hates when I say it, pay the player. They have executed for years in this league. They are proven. You're not guessing what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. Even if Trey only has 1 or 2 elite seasons in him, even on his decline, he's going to be better than most NFL players. Pay the man.
We saw an NFL first last night in Cut 19, the first ever virtual first down measurement.
Time out for a virtual measurement.
Sorry, you've been stopped for
I'd rather
the virtual world.
I'll get back to that story, I promise.
The chain gang is still employed. They have not been made redundant, as they would say in the UK. But if it's close to a first down, you're going to get a virtual measurement. And you're going to see everybody look up to the screen to check out to see if the first down was made. It's using technology, and it's a first down, as you see there. There's the virtual measurement, and there was the line to gain. So the Lions have a first down. If it is short, you're going to see how short they were. Now, they probably knew that was a first down on the field, but it's preseason. You want to make sure this new technology is ready to go for the season. And the answer is yes.
The future is now.
I loved it. It reminded me of the U.S. Open for tennis, the Wimbledon, right? You check and see if the ball crossed. And it's just an opportunity to get things right. And that's all you want. You don't want a game to be decided by the chain gang or by a referee who thought he saw what he saw, but he didn't see it when he saw it. It's just it's efficiency, and I'm for that. One thing it does do is slow the game down, and I'm sure people are going to be against that at times, but just get it right.
The automated balls and strikes call system is controversial for some understandable reasons. Like, it's not just umps who might not want it. Like, there are players, Cal Raleigh being one of them, who's like probably not the biggest fan in the world.
Right.
I don't know a single person, not a ref, who wouldn't want virtual measuring for first downs. You know what I mean? Because it's not like you can lean into, I mean, you always want to make sure, like, I don't want people to lose their jobs. That's the common denominator with both. But if I'm a catcher, I want the advantage of pitch framing. Like, I want to be able to create a little bit of an advantage for me. There's not a direct equivalent in football. Like, you want to make sure it's exact. Like, sure, you might get lucky, but you can't control it as a defender.
No, I think there are certain times where you should use it. Late in the games, fourth quarter and all that. And same thing with the robo umps. Maybe late in the game, 8th, 9th inning or something like that. That's when it comes into play, because human error does affect the game, and sometimes negatively and positively. But it also forces players to adjust, and that's what's beautiful about sports. And one of the things is that you have to make clear adjustments. If you don't adjust, then you lose ball games. So I like that.
We've been talking about Terry McLaurin's holdout with Washington quite a bit today. We finally heard from Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels. He was asked about the stalemate McLaurin and Washington's front office find themselves in Cut 21.
Man, I think it's super important for everybody to just get as many rests as possible before the big show, the real thing is to happen. But I know the time will come, and till then, I mean, if that's us getting in the film room and watching film and just talking, that's other ways we could do it. But, I mean, like I said, man, nothing's changed since Terry's been back in the building. When he's out of the building, you know, we talk ball, talk life, and so nothing's changed at all.
Yeah, if I'm Jaden, I'm like, please, I'm begging you.
He's lying to his change. Jaden like, man, what they doing? They tripping, man. Terry like, yeah, I know they tripping. It's a lot of the conversation has changed, but obviously a lot of it has stayed the same. You have to act as if he's going to be on this team. I'm sure he's talking about plays and practice and all that good stuff, but there's also, he can be like a relief for him. Like Terry can speak honestly with Jaden Daniels, let him know how he's really feeling, things that he's not going to say to the media or probably anyone else in that building at this point. So it's important that Jaden stays close to him and they keep contact. But at the end of the day, Jaden doesn't make those decisions. Yeah. Upstairs they do.
You heard Jaden mention in that cut, well, Terry's still here, so, you know, we're still talking and whatever. And he is. ESPN's feature about Terry's trade request and that standoff, they mentioned that Terry McLaurin has been at camp since Sunday. So while he's not participating, he's still on the field after practices. He was, like, signing autographs for people. Like, he's still involved in that way. And this ESPN feature said that there was a Washington Commanders fan, I'm guessing a younger one, who, you know, was giving something for Terry McLaurin to sign. And they asked Terry McLaurin, so have you signed yet? And Terry said, you're funny.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna comment before you even said that. That's the danger of being around and signing. Fans don't care, especially kids. Kids say what's on their mind. Like, what's up, man? Is this good or not?
What's the meanest thing a kid has said to you?
Meanest thing, just that I was garbage.
Like a kid?
Oh yeah, garbage. No. Why are you on the team?
How old was that kid?
He's under 12. Under 12. So you just look at him, and if it was a grown man, I'd be like, hey, come out here and try out. But it was a kid, so you just laugh.
Curtis, what's the most brutal thing one of your kids has said?
There was, I think I told you guys this story, maybe off the air, but the radio came on, and it was something pre-recorded that I had done here, and I was like, oh, hey, that's whose voice is that? And Blair goes, I want Moana, our 2-year-old. And I go, well, whose voice is that? Is that Daddy's voice? I want Moana. And she really wanted Moana. And I was like, okay, well, here's Moana.
Yeah. Micah Parsons has officially requested a trade, announced it on X today. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of trading for Micah Parsons, because I know it's a question many Seahawks fans are asking right now. Coming your way next.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
The 2025 Seahawks season is almost here. Get fitted for game days with jerseys, caps, and tees, including the 2025 training camp collection. Visit the Seahawks Pro Shop at the Landing in Renton and Lumen Field or online at seahawks.com/pro shop.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Step into Seahawks game day at the Pro Shop, where the roar of the 12s begins. And official Seahawks gear is always within reach.
Touchdown,
Seahawks!
This is the Pro Shop. Visit the official store of the Seattle Seahawks, located at Lumen Field and the Landing in Renton.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at winning 4 tickets to see the Seattle Seahawks host the Kansas City Chiefs on August 15th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 30th through August 4th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. From the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app. The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Will the Cowboys pay Micah Parsons? Probably. Maybe inevitably, but he's officially requested a trade. He sent that trade request to Stephen Jones himself. He announced it on Twitter. According to Adam Schefter, 3 of his teammates have now changed their Twitter avatars to be Micah Parsons. The team's not happy about it, but naturally to come from this bump is like, well, what if they do trade him? And what if the Seahawks are a candidate to be in part of that conversation? We're going to talk about the pros and cons of trading for Micah. We'll start with the easiest possible. Pros of trading for Micah Parsons. Which one? What is a couple for you?
The pros?
Yeah.
Is that you get someone at a young age of 25, 26 years old. He will be elite at his position for at least 4 or 5 years. I mean, and could go longer than that, but just projecting off of what I see and what I feel, maybe 4 to 5 years. You get a guy who is ready, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's always easier to come to a new team and pick up a defense fairly quickly because there's only so much you can do. You're reacting as a defense, and you bring star power to your team.
Yeah.
Tickets will be sold. Jerseys will be sold. You can be the dang Browns, and people are going to show up to see this young man play. He is one of the best, if not the best defender in the game. You get something that's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Now, you don't need Micah Parsons to do this, but it also adds he would be starting, but depth to a position where you don't have a Uchenna Nwosu entering the season. TBD if he'll be ready week 1, but right now he's not, and they're very uncertain on this timetable. They are not giving details about when he's going to be ready. So let's say hypothetically that he's not with you to start the season. Derek Hall has had a good offseason. We've enjoyed conversations with him. He sounds so confident. Boye Mafe and him both really blossomed last year. We know that it's a good group, but every expert we've talked to about depth with this team has mentioned they could really use another guy.
Yeah, you could. And how desperate are you for that guy? Because what the absence of Uchenna does is allow space for someone else to grow. All right, could you imagine a defense with Micah Parsons on this thing? Most definitely. But what are you willing to give up? I just looked up the last biggest trade that I remember was Matthew Stafford. It's a quarterback, but it's kind of the same caliber, right? A guy who's a veteran who's ready to go. All right, the Lions receive a quarterback, a 2021 third-round pick, a first-round picks in 2022 and 2023. I don't know if the Seahawks are willing to do that. And if you do give up a first-round pick, I would assume you're not going to give up a top 10 pick. I think this team is going to be good. I think, if anything, you're giving up number 18, 19, 20 or something like that. So there's a way to get this done. I just don't know if that's the way that John Schneider wants to build his team. Now, if Mike McDonald were to come to John Schneider, like, look, I need this guy. This will take us to the next level. I'm sure he would consider it. But then you got to sit down and map out the future of your team. What do we need? Are we going to need another high draft pick for an offensive lineman? Are we going to need another draft pick for a quarterback? You don't know. There's a lot of projecting going on in this situation, but you definitely have to take a look at it.
Yeah, if you were to, I like that you mentioned that, because if you were to contrast the number one thing in pros and the number one thing in cons, it creates a decision that feels kind of impossible to make. Micah Parsons is a young star who makes you better, period. He puts you over the top. He would be incredibly valuable to your defense. And he's familiar with that and dirty. Flip side, you have to give up draft picks that you want to be able to use for a team that's not necessarily like, win now, it's our Super Bowl window this year mode. You're in like, we need to build up mode. They've got a good young core, keep adding to it. And also, you have to immediately pay him. So there's the value of draft picks you're giving up, and then the actual capital that you have to invest. He is not paying without it or playing without a new deal in 2025. He is not.
Yeah, another thing that's different between the Rams situation and this one is that they went to get a quarterback. A quarterback can change your franchise in a year or two, especially if you already have pieces around him. If Michael Parsons joins this defense, I don't think it makes them a Super Bowl team. It makes them a Super Bowl type of defense, but you still have other questions that need to be answered on the other side of the football. So I think the position plays a big role in this as well, but you also have so much depth and talent on that defense. Mike McDonald might be looking at this defense and saying, we can win with this. So, and it's just the assets, man. I don't think you want to give up all those pieces. A team that's struggling, a team like Titans, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Jets, maybe the Jets, the Patriots. Those are teams I feel like that are more likely to take a stab at this because they're going to have a high draft pick anyway next year. So why not go ahead and pay for a high draft pick that's already been proven in this league?
Something that's a little wrinkle that hasn't necessarily been the case with some former trades the Seahawks have made is you have a former teammate of this player and maybe they don't have the best relationship with D-Law having signed him in free agency. It's not like, I'll throw the question your way rather than answering. Do you think it matters at all that D-Law doesn't have a great relationship with Micah Parsons?
Nope. I think it matters to them, but this is a working relationship. Get her done. Like, that's not going to be the deciding factor. It's not going to be, hey, John Schneider, he's ready. I'm going to give up 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and you get to the table and you go, but let's ask DeMarcus Lawrence how he feels about this. Oh, he doesn't want to do it? No, that's the deciding factor. No, I think they take it into consideration, but if they're already talking about giving up draft picks and doing all that good stuff, that's not going to be the reason why they don't get it done.
Well, and the difference, too, is like, is DeMarcus Lawrence here with you next year? Maybe, I don't know. If you trade for Micah Parsons at 26 years old and then give him an extension, not only is he with you next year, he's with you for several years. Yeah. So you're trading for a long-term piece, and you don't want to have someone whose future with you is up in the air decide whether or not you make that decision.
Yeah, and, it's ageism, but it happens all the time in the NFL. DeMarcus is just older, too. Like, how many more years is he going to play? I think he can still play 3-4 solid years, but with Micah, you're talking 6, 7, 8 possibly. There's a difference there.
I have definitely covered players who did not like teammates.
Yeah.
They still made it work.
All the time.
It's just,
let me
think
tell
about
you,
people you work with.
Let me tell you, that those Super Bowl years, there were some players who did not like each other.
You better believe it.
And they, you know what they did? Won ball games.
Won a lot of ball games. And you just make it work, man. Players are able to compartmentalize a lot of things, including maybe some not so great relationships they have with teammates or coaches or whoever else. maybe I'll wrap up. So we went over some of the pros and cons, with the pros being, hey, he's only 26 years old. Rarely do you have a player this young become available to trade. This just does not typically happen. You usually see a Trey Hendrickson where it's like the team has already given him a contract, but now they're on the fence about whether or not they want to because he's on the wrong side of 30. This guy's 26. Obviously, the productivity with him being one of Dallas's best players, one of the best defensive players in all of football with a track record to back it up. He's got a good relationship with Adam Dirty. He makes your team better. He addresses an area that could certainly use depth. While he wouldn't be a depth piece, it allows really good players. Like, imagine if Derek Hall and Boye Mafe are like extras that you have too. Cons, Cowboys asking price.
Yep.
Are you willing to give up multiple first-round picks?
Nope.
A relationship with DeMarcus Lawrence, which I think you kind of were like, nah, take it out of there, not really relevant. Parson with his podcast. Parson's personality, maybe, is that worth exploring for? Does that do anything for you? He's an outspoken guy.
Yeah,
he announced
he
this himself on Twitter.
Yeah, but I also think that's just the new wave, man. Like, me, my old school, my 39, 1985 self, it would be like, oh, man, that's a distraction. But everyone has a dang podcast, man. You just have to be honest and open with them and make sure you guys are on the same page with that.
All right, the Mariners coming off a win over the Rangers, getting ready for Game 2. And we have a really exciting lineup to talk about. Seattle Times reporter Adam Jude joins us next.
Blue 88, every day at 7:45 on Brock and Salk.
What are you hearing with these young Seahawks?
Yeah, the words I continue to hear, betting on themselves. They're betting on themselves because these college kids are coming into the league with millions, you know. But if you're Kobe Bryant, are you going to say, hey, man, on this defense, I'm going to be a great player. I'm going to go to the market, and I'm going to have 31 other teams bidding for me rather than taking it now.
Blue 88 on Seattle Sports. Get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Seattle home prices, well, they just keep going up, and you might be ready to take advantage. If you're getting ready to sell or just moved into a new home, now is the time to get a thorough inspection of your crawl space and attic. And don't do it yourself. You don't want to be crawling around in there. You probably don't even really know what to look for. It's Mike Salk here, and Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to, so you can know if there's anything going on in your crawl space or attic without having to crawl into and evaluate those spaces on your own. A free inspection will let you know if your home is energy efficient and if the air you're breathing is clean and safe. Plus, there are some really great utility rebates available right now to help you with the cost of the new insulation if it's needed. How nice would it be to get someone else to cover that cost? Had them out to my house, and it was a great idea. Did that free corner-to-corner inspection, found some issues, they took the pictures, showed them to me, and then solved the problem. No issues since. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back?
Tremfya guselkumab may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed, all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons has officially submitted a trade request, news he announced himself on social media earlier today. Parsons' teammate, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who also dealt with extended contract negotiations with the Cowboys, voiced his support. 3 teammates have changed their profile photo to Parsons as well.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Mariners with Seattle Times reporter Adam Jude, joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Adam, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Finally, a little quiet time here today, so I'm trying to enjoy that. How are you guys?
I appreciate, as does Bump, that you're able to join us. Very, very hectic, busy week for you. Just take us back through, because it was during a game, the announcement about the acquisition of Geno. Had you been hearing rumblings before? What was it like immediately after? Kind of walk us through that evening.
Yeah, obviously everyone's kind of bracing for that. The Mariners had been pretty clear, both publicly and privately, that Geno was their number one target, right? This goes back weeks now. And in fact, they were hoping to get both Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez in the same package deal from the Diamondbacks. I think the Diamondbacks wisely kind of broke those guys up and probably got a bigger return back overall because they did that. But yeah, so something like that's super interesting. Obviously, when it happens in the middle of the game, obviously it's the night before the deadline, so anything can happen. You're kind of on the edge of your seat. We knew the Mariners had quite a few different things in the fire and options floating out there. So wasn't totally caught off guard. I will say I was out doing a little bit of yard work last minute and trying to pull some weeds and get some stuff done. And then I actually saw Jeff Passan's tweet initially. He usually is the first on all this stuff. So obviously I'm circling back and checking with folks too. But yeah, it's just kind of how the deadline works, right? And what a week it was for baseball. I mean, I think there were 30 trades alone just yesterday before the 3:00 deadline around the sport. And the Mariners didn't push anything across the finish line yesterday on the last day. I know that they had talked to a number of teams and were trying to get one more relief pitcher. But at the end of the day, they got what they believe are the two best bats available, and then they got a good left-handed pitcher in Caleb Ferguson. I think they feel really good about the additions they were able to make, and I think they should feel really good about it.
Adam, my view of the team has changed, so I'm going to ask you for yours. Before the trade deadline, this team was capable of blank. After the trade deadline, this team is capable of blank.
Before the trade deadline, this team was capable of sneaking in the playoffs and maybe making a long run. After the deadline, this team is capable of winning the World Series. I think that's absolutely true. Gino just brings that, again, everyone, the buzzword yesterday was just energy, but there's just an earnestness to him. There's the vibe, right? The vibe is so perfect, the word we keep using, because that's his thing, right? Good vibes only, and it's absolutely true. It sort of just describes him and his character and what he brings. He just makes everyone around him feel good. And again, it's earnest, it's genuine, it's just positive all the time. And you can't help but just feel that if you're in his presence or anywhere near him, whether you're a teammate, a coach, or even us lowly media types. He just makes everyone smile. And we saw in the ballpark last night, too. I mean, the guy got like 3 standing ovations before he'd even barely stepped on the field. And again, he was a guy who was only here for 2 years, right? It was 2 seasons, and yet it felt like a decade. It felt like so much more just because of the guy he is. And obviously, he's a good baseball player, too. His last calendar year, the last 12 months or so, he's been one of the very best sluggers in all of baseball. Can he continue that here hitting in T-Mobile Park, the most daunting hitter's park in baseball? I mean, we'll find out. We've seen what that looks like before. He is a middle-of-the-order presence. He is going to help this team one way or the other. And so I think the Mariners, again, should feel really good about that. And I know they do. And I know they feel like this raises the stakes. They pushed all their chips in. They said they were, and they upheld their promise there. And I think the city feels it. I think this fan base feels it.
So we know from your answer that your lingering question about Gino is, can he be quite as effective at T-Mobile compared to in Arizona? What's your big question for the team, kind of like the lingering question you have when it comes to, like, can they win a World Series? This is kind of sticking with me. And then what's your confidence level they can answer it?
Well, that's a really good question, Stace. I would say it still comes back to what the foundation of this team is, what their philosophy is, and what their strength has been and is supposed to be, and that's starting pitching. We saw George Kirby last night, vintage George Kirby performance. He's owned the Texas Rangers in his career. I think he's 8-0 with like barely a 1 ERA in his career, 10 career starts against the Rangers. And then I think it's perfect. Tonight we have Logan Gilbert too, because to me, kind of everything sort of hinges, not to point, it never comes down to just one guy or 2 guys, but to me, for this team to reach its ceiling, George Kirby needs to continue to do and look a lot like he did last night, and then Logan Gilbert needs to look like the ace that he is and that he certainly can be. Obviously, both guys, missed significant time early in the season with arm injuries. Bryce Miller, actually, the Mariners are hoping he can come back in the next 2 to 3 weeks. He makes his first rehab start for AAA Tacoma tonight. So, again, I don't know how much you can really count on a Bryce Miller, but obviously they have their fingers crossed and are hoping. But to me, I circle back to Logan Gilbert, George Kirby. If they can be, 90% of what they were last year and what they've proven to be throughout their career, I think this is a really dangerous team going forward.
How much of an effect does Thornton go down have on this bullpen, and who do you need to kind of step up in his absence?
Yeah, that's a good question too, and we'll find out the severity here. I think I'm going to head to the ballpark here shortly, and we'll find out, but it certainly did not look good for Trent Thornton, unfortunately. Immediately holding his lower left leg, the Achilles area, and that's always a dangerous spot. And so we'll find out. He's been, a super underrated guy. He was really good last year. He had appendicitis emergency surgery in May, so he missed about a month already this year. So it's been a tough year for Trent Thornton, but we'll find out. They have Jackson Kowar. They just sent down. They'll be able to bring him back up for an injury if they need. Blas Castaño, we've seen a little bit already. They have some options, but again, I think the one sort of hiccup and maybe the one sort of the icing on the cake that the Mariners fans were hoping for yesterday in the past couple of days was that one more high-end relief pitcher, high-leverage arm that the Mariners just weren't able to quite push across the finish line before the trade deadline. And so, this could come back to bite them a little bit with Trent Thornton. Obviously, he wasn't one of those high leverage guys. But again, when you're talking about your depth and you're talking about guys you're relying on, he was certainly a guy that they've turned to a lot this year.
Cal had a quote that you guys quoted him with in the locker room, and I'm paraphrasing it. You obviously know it because you talked to him, but it was like, this is the stuff that I talked about in my meeting with Jerry and Justin, and I'm really excited about it. And do you think that, these are the kind of moves this front office would have made no matter what? Or do you think that whether it's Cal or someone else, that players do kind of impact and help put any kind of pressure or maybe even inspire a front office to make moves?
Yeah, again, we've seen kind of Cal grow up before our eyes, right, the past few years, and he's really become the guy. And my colleague Larry Stone is a former colleague and a great one, but Ryan Divish wrote
Still
earlier
a colleague
this year
in our minds.
Yeah, Larry, there we go. Slip of the tongue there. But Ryan Divish wrote, and I thought he accurately pegged Cal as the conscience of this team, right? Yes, he's the unofficial captain, but the real C word, he's the conscience of this team. And I think that it extends throughout the organization, too. This is a guy who, by all accounts, does everything the right way. He shows up one of the first at the ballpark every day. He wants to be behind the plate, the toughest job maybe in sports, every night. And, oh, by the way, he hit his 42nd home run last night before the end of July. So he's just the MVP all around. And, again, that extends to, what the front office is trying to do, what the future of this organization is. He wants to know. He had an opinion on draft picks and prospects leading up to the MLB draft a couple of weeks ago. I know he was checking in about that, and he was certainly checking in with Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander when it came to trade deadline targets, too. And so I don't think anyone was happier to get Geno back than Cal Raleigh. Certainly, I think the entire fan base was. But, again, to me, and I asked Jerry DiPoto about this yesterday when he met with the media, was just, is this a larger sign of sort of the front offices and the whole organization's alignment with Cal and the locker room, the clubhouse at large, too. And I think it is. We've seen at times, we've seen what that looks like in the past few years when, 2023, they trade away, Paul Sewald. It was a very unpopular move at the time for a team trying to hang on the fringes of the playoffs and trade away, some high-end relievers in the past. It was a very different feeling this time, of course. This team has played well enough. Certainly, Cal has played well enough. He's in the MVP conversation. To use a word you use there, Stacy. They inspired them, and this whole team is, despite some of their inconsistencies, has shown what they're capable of, and they inspired the front office to go out and make these moves.
What's the role of Dan Wilson in this whole thing now? I mean, obviously, Adam, it's his effects are minimal, right, when it comes to actual play. He has to make decisions with the bullpen and all that good stuff. But is there any more pressure on Dan now to try to win this whole thing, or do you feel like his effects aren't going to be felt as greatly as the players on the field, obviously?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, it's been a year now that he's been on the job, and he's had to, kind of learn on the job, take some lumps. Still very much a rookie manager at times, but I think he's smoothed out some of the rough edges, some of the things we saw early in the season, and we'll find out. Again, everything is heightened, everything is magnified when you get into a playoff chase like this. Every single move, every pinch hit, every relief appearance, every lineup does, take on a little bit greater weight, a little more importance, just because, you only have 50 games left or so here. There are only so many swings you get now, and so you can't make too many mistakes if you're the manager. At the same time, they did make their lineup a heck of a lot deeper. This might be the best lineup in the American League now, one of the best in baseball. And so at the end of the day, the players got to go out and play, and they've got to execute. But certainly Dan Wilson wants to put them in the best position possible, too.
It is objectively a really good lineup, so I don't want to take away from that fact. But you're right in kind of hinting at, it's the best lineup in the American League, because also important context is the American League is kind of weird this year. Does it still feel very wide open to you? I mean, just when you look at the league itself and you look at, kind of the road that Seattle would have to take, does it feel like there's an opportunity?
Oh, 100%. I think the actions of all the contenders in the American League over the last couple of days told you that, too. The Yankees went out and really improved their bullpen. Houston went and brought back Carlos Correa. The Rangers made a couple of nice sort of underrated moves. I think everyone thinks they've got a great chance. You know, Toronto and Detroit have been consistently the two best teams in the American League, but they're not juggernauts by any means. And so if you're the Mariners, if you're the Astros, if you're the Rangers, these teams in the West, maybe even the Angels still think, you know, they're very much right there and have a run in them. It is wide open, maybe as wide open as it's ever been. And so why not? And again, I think that was part of the thinking on the Mariners' part. There's an opportunity out there. This is the only franchise that's never been to a World Series. I think they owe it to the fan base, and they owe it to Cal, and they owe it to the rest of this team to go out and at least try, and that's what they've done. And now the players got to go out and prove that they can get it done.
Hey, during this, approach to the deadline, you were relying on some young talent at the bottom of the order. Ben Williamson, obviously, they had to make a move there, but Cole Young seems to be coming into form. What are your thoughts on him, his development, and his maybe future contributions to this team this year and moving forward?
Yeah, I think Cole Young, and obviously we're coming off a game where he hit a ball to the moon, and then he hit a triple, really exciting play there. We've seen his defense consistently, but I think Cole Young has a chance to be a star. I would not be stunned at all if he's an all-star next year in his first full year. Just watching him, I don't know how else to say it. You just watch him in the batter's box, the way he moves, the way he swings the bat. I've said this a few times, but it feels like the bat is just an extension of his body. Like he was meant to hold a baseball bat. The way he's able to whip it through the zone. He's certainly not the biggest guy, but to turn on a 97-mile-per-hour fastball and blast it the way he did last night, 113 miles per hour off the bat. Initially projected at 470 feet. They updated that to only 456 feet today. That's still, I mean, it would take me 7 swings to hit a ball off a tee that far. I mean, this guy is, he's honestly, the Mariners have been really excited about this guy for the last 3 or 4 years since they drafted him. And I kind of tended to think some of that was maybe overhyped and overblown, and I was wrong. Now that we're seeing it consistently in front of us, I think this guy has a chance to be the Mariners' second baseman for a long time. And I wouldn't be stunned at all if we're talking about him as potentially the best second baseman in baseball at some point.
Wow. Good stuff from Seattle Times, Adam Jude. Make sure you're reading Adam's work, seattletimes.com. Thanks so much, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
As you can tell from the crowd noise in the background, we are live from Seahawks training camp. Seahawks training camp, our coverage brought to you by The Landing in Renton. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what was the best story from the Hall of Fame game last night, which you did watch?
I did. I watched the whole thing,
like
too.
1 through 4th quarter.
I watched them all. I was going to give you guys updates every quarter, but I was like, nah, they're watching the Mariners game now, so I'm going to let them chill. Had the Mariners on my laptop, and then I had the Hall of Fame game on the big screen. But I love that Trey Lance is having another opportunity at this, man. He was overdrafted for sure, like most quarterbacks, but he was like crazy overdrafted, and he got lost. He was with the Niners and went over to the Dallas Cowboys, and now he's with the Chargers. But that wasn't my favorite thing. My favorite thing was hearing the story of Tony Jefferson. He's a corner who had an interception last night. He was out of football for 2 to 3 years. Blue Angels are back. He was working to become a scout in the NFL, and he said, you know what, I'm going to give this thing another go. He goes out there, makes the team during camp, and his first game, he's out there making an interception. 33 years of age. All right, he's not an 80s baby. He's still a 90s baby.
It's just like the math isn't mathing for me.
But he's in his 30s, and I think that's so hard to do, man, because they say once you've been out the league 2 to 3 seasons, you're probably not coming back. So that tells me, man, he worked his tail off to get in shape and to give himself another opportunity. So that's the way you should be watching these preseason games. You find players and stories. The commentators are going to do a great job of telling you everyone's story, and you invest in their play. And I know it's not going to be the cleanest play during the preseason. You're playing with a whole bunch of backups, but stories like that is what kind of keeps me going when I watch teams other than the Seahawks.
Okay, so if I'm applying it to the Seahawks, and I'm bringing up this player because I know you've mentioned him many times and kind of his potential. I think Derek Young is going to be a guy on the bubble. It's a very, very tough wide receiver room. Is he going to be one of those guys for you when you're watching these preseason games?
Yeah, Derek Young's going to be one of those guys. I want to see Josh Jobe because they just brought in a new another corner Dayrain, I believe his name is. I'm sorry if I'm jacking his name up, but they just brought him in. He was from Jackson State and played at Southern Louisiana for a little bit. I just go to the bottom of the depth charts, the guys that I don't know, and I'm going to take a good look at them. There's a kid from out of Villanova named Isis. Isis is out there. I'm going to watch him as well. So, yeah, pick a name that you don't recognize, and then just watch him and see what he does.
Second down. What do you like about the Panthers' preseason approach?
I love that Bryce Young is going to play in 2 preseason games according to Canales. And I think that's important because he has an opportunity to build off of what he did last year. Started off rough. He got benched for a little bit, and then they brought him back, and he finished the regular season on a very high note. It was fun to watch him play. Against the Arizona Cardinals, his last 3 games, he threw 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 2 against Arizona in an overtime win, 2 against Tampa Bay in a loss, and then 3 against the Atlanta Falcons in an overtime win. So they're giving him opportunity to build off of the wave that he created. And I wouldn't have him in more than 2 or 3 series. And while he's in, I would throw Leggett out there, Adam Thielen, the starters. Give him an opportunity to build some chemistry. But I like this because he's proven nothing in this league. Full of potential. He showed that he can be a starter, but can you do it year after year? This is a great start. I like this approach for him.
Third down. You heard something shocking yet telling from Tyreek Hill today at Dolphins camp. What was it?
Yeah, it was crazy. So Tyreek Hill was responding to the I guess a quote from Tua. Tua pretty much calling Tyreek Hill out and saying, look, the relationship has to be better, work ethic, all that good stuff. And I don't think anyone's ever done that to Tyreek Hill in the NFL. Imagine when he was with Pat Mahomes is still a young quarterback. I would assume now where Pat Mahomes is in his career, he would have no problem calling guys out respectfully and making sure they're good to go. So how does Tyreek Hill respond? My initial thought was that he was going to be bitter, he's going to be mad, he's going to throw a fit. But he says, no, it was needed, and he appreciated that. But he also said he's finally taking notes
for the first time
and during the class sessions, and he finally understands the offense. And that's how good that guy is that for years, he probably didn't really pay attention to what's going on around him. He focused on his assignment and what he needed to do, and he executed. There's a different understanding when a football player knows everything that's happening on the football field. It's almost like in the Matrix when Neo started dodging those bullets in slow motion and stuff. That's what it's going to feel like for Tyreek Hill. And he's already the fastest dude out there. So I think we can expect another big year from Tyreek Hill, maybe 1,000 yards, the 8 or 9 touchdowns. That should be the standard for him, the minimum for him. And, yeah, he shows some real maturity in that moment because the average person or the average player, maybe superstar, would have thrown a fit.
Was there ever a player that you knew that clearly didn't take notes, didn't try, just like made it work? That you're comfortable saying on air?
I ain't going to say his name.
Okay, during a break.
I ain't going to say his name, but definitely.
Fourth down. What's the most impressive thing you've seen in training camp so far?
So we're sitting out here watching these guys warm up and go through their individuals. I love that this has felt like a NFL practice from day one. We talked to Kubiak earlier, and I praised him. I told him, look, man, you guys are putting out formations, multiple formations, all these movements and stuff, and that was on day one. And he said, look, guys are very receptive. They're smart. They're learning and all that stuff. We've seen guys make plays. Milrose had a couple of plays. Drew Locks looked good. Sam Darnold as well. The defense. Imawari is making plays. But I work with someone who refuses to drink water.
Okay, I don't know.
Stacy
through
Joe
a
Ross
whole bottle.
refuses to drink water. The only reason why she's drinking water today is because she felt a little lightheaded. She goes, Bum, I feel lightheaded. I don't know what's going on. And like any partner would say on Instagram to their female partner, they would say, did you drink water today? And she started drinking water.
I said I drank water yesterday.
She had a little bit of chicken. And now she's feeling better all of a sudden.
I don't feel better.
It's crazy how that works. So now I must check on her like I do my 13-year-old. He hates to drink water.
Yeah.
How many bottles of water you drink today? Constantly checking in on him. So from now on, I'm just checking in on you. How many bottles of water have you drank today?
Love how often you and Curtis kind of have the same oversight with your children and also me, where you're like, okay, did everyone drink water? Yeah. Did everyone get enough sleep? Everyone doing okay? No one's grumpy today?
Hey, if we go on a road trip, I'm like, listen, did you use the bathroom already?
Yeah,
because we got to put in 2 hours before we stop.
I have no response. I mean,
you're not beating the allegations, Stacy.
It's not like I don't consume water through things. I have coffee, Diet Coke. I put a lot of ice in my drinks. That's a lot of water. I have a lot of ice. Okay. I think some food like fruit has water in it. But yeah, I have noticed maybe that my headache is slightly.
That thing is gone. That thing is gone. You
No.
said you were stumbling over words.
I was.
You're clear now.
I was.
You're clear.
No. I just don't want Matt to know. You know? All right, let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners are on tonight. I've never been so excited to sit. I shouldn't say that. I've been excited to watch Mariners series, but I'm like legitimately like, let's get this thing going.
Let's go.
They're taking on the Rangers for Game 2. Pregame starts at 5:30 p.m. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Two things. One, get your questions in for what I need to know. You got 20 minutes. 866-979-3776. Sports, non-sports, it does not matter. Just a question that you've got on your mind. You need to know the answer. 866-979-3776. Second thing, I thought Adam Jude said something very, very, very
spicy.
interesting about this team. Very spicy. We'll tell you what it was next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
I was always a guy that, like, if I could get an interception, man. How many did you have in your career? 3. How many should you have had? If you, as you put it, if you didn't have frying pan hands. Yeah, I would say probably double that. When I was in high school, I played in a state championship game. I had 2 interceptions in one game, and I was like, that was my favorite game. I just loved that.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Buckle up. True country icon Klint Kubiak is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Tuesday, August 5th on his Back on the Blacktop tour. Grab your boots and get your tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com. Klint Kubiak, live and loud and only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max XR 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay,
Ooh,
deep
high
breath.
Five, high five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
You gotta love baseball season. But when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rick Riz here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Oh, it is the time of the season for pests. That's right. No one likes them. No one knows where they come from, but we can all agree no one wants them in their house. Mike Salk here for Crawl Pros, and they have a full-service pest control division now called Pest Pros. They can come to your house and do a full corner-to-corner inspection, take care of any problems, just like they did at my home. This is the time of the year you'll start seeing more ants in and around your home. You may also begin hearing a little buzzing outdoors. Bees, wasps, hornets. If they make a nest on your property, that is a huge nuisance. So please don't try to take care of those nests on your own. Simply call Pest Pros to have any nest removed and destroyed professionally before the problem grows or you and your guest ends up getting stung. Pest Pros is the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros with eco-friendly treatments to keep ants, stinging insects, and all sorts of critters from making their way into your home. If you're worried about rodents, ants, or other bugs or an issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit GoPestPros.com to schedule a free inspection at GoPestPros.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I feel like it's always fair to add weight to the words of reporters, analysts, particularly people like beat reporters, people that cover a team and know them well.
Right.
And I feel like typically with the Mariners, in my experience, understandably, reporters can have a little bit of caution where they're like, yeah, this is really exciting. You know what I mean? You're not a fan. You're ultimately just trying to inform and tell stories. And, I found it very interesting that Adam Jude said they could be a World Series team. Because this is not something he's saying in like this, like, you know, oh, I'm a fan and you never know what's possible. This is someone who is very knowledgeable of the game, who has covered this team, knows about other teams in the league, is feeling about this team right now.
That got the people going. It got me going, too, because I asked him, okay, well, before the trade deadline, this team was capable of what? He said a deep playoff run. Me personally, I'd say playoffs, not a playoff run. Then I said, okay, well, after the trade deadline, they were capable of what? He said winning the World Series. And I think that has a lot to do with what's going on and what's not going on in the AL. If this were a year, maybe 4 years ago or something like that, teams are more talented, more explosive, the Astros are healthy, then maybe there's a different answer with this lineup. But when you add a bat that has 37 home runs and 87 RBIs, when you add Josh Naylor, who's a contact type of guy, you already have the league leader when it comes to home runs and RBIs, and a talent like Julio Rodriguez to sprinkle everything else in there. With everything else that's going on in the AL, it's like the perfect storm.
Yeah.
So it's almost, I almost don't even want to speak it because I don't want to put this type of pressure on these dudes. But if a guy like Adam Jude, who knows this game, who studies this team and everything else that's going on, has those type of expectations, it's fair for fans to expect that. Will it happen? Who knows? Because every year there are 4 to 5 teams that people expect to make it to the World Series, and 1 or 2 of them makes it to the World Series. So nothing in this thing is guaranteed, but at least being able to really believe that your team is that good has to be refreshing and fun for the fan base.
Curtis, as part of this, Adam was also clearly implying that the landscape of the American League is factoring into this. And that's not to say they don't have a phenomenal roster. It's a genuinely great roster right now, particularly their lineup. But also impacting this is that we're used to seeing, you know, teams that are more sure things that really aren't. What are the teams around the American League that you look at that you go, well, there's an opportunity because this team isn't quite as good or this team isn't quite as healthy? Like, what's happening to the powers that be right now?
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox had a particularly quiet trade deadline. Their biggest acquisition, I believe, was Dustin May, a starting pitcher from the Dodgers, but not one of their better starting pitchers. So they look like they kind of let an opportunity go by. The Yankees didn't make any significant moves. Those are two teams directly ahead of you in that wild card race. So there's opportunities for the Mariners to climb there. I mean, you're only 4.5 back of Houston, especially after winning last night. You helped yourselves out there. Detroit, I mean, they're going to be tough to catch, obviously. The Blue Jays, they've been playing some really good ball over the last couple of months. But you look at New York and Boston, I mean, those two teams, obviously they are, historically aggressive at the deadline and have some of the deepest pockets of any team in baseball, but I wouldn't necessarily say either of them had a particularly good trade deadline.
Bump, I think one of the things that's most encouraging to me about this team is that maybe the single biggest question is one that they're capable of answering. It's one thing when your pitching is phenomenal, like it was last year, and you're going, yeah, they could be great if only the offense was also really good, and it's like, well, who? You know what I mean? What are you going to find? Are you going to, like, lift up a rock and grab a hard-hitting DH? Like, what do you mean? Where are you going to find these guys? My question about this team right now is about the overall pitching and whether they can get back to that level. Those guys are here. Like, they're here. Logan Gilbert is here. George Kirby is here. He had a great game yesterday. Brian Wu has been phenomenal. There maybe you have questions about the bullpen, but, like, this is a team capable of building up its weakness, if that makes sense. And right. I use weakness very lightly because the players there are top-tier players. It's just been a little more inconsistent this year.
Yeah, it's, man, could you imagine if the health of the rotation was what it was a couple of years ago and this the execution? And I think that's why I'm sure this had some type of influence on how aggressive Jerry and the gang were, because they felt like, all right, we don't know when we're going to get this window of opportunity again, so let's go ahead and swing for the fences. So now you got a rotation that isn't executing at that level, but still one of the best, and not the best, in the league. And you've added the most firepower you've had in at least a decade. So it changes expectations. It changes the perception of this organization, especially Jerry DiPoto. And let's give Justin Hollander some love, too. I don't think his name is mentioned enough in this whole situation because he's part of this as well. It feels like the Mariners just went through a glow-up.
Really?
Like, look at my 7th grade pitcher. Whack. Look at my rookie season in the NFL. Man, like that's what it feels like. We went from 7th grade pitcher to 2nd year in the league. I know what works for my beard, shave the head, work out in the gym, and now we're ready to play with the big boys.
I mean, I used to look like Weird Al. Like, this is a known thing. I was just a very ugly child, but I had a heart of gold, and so did the Mariners. And
great personality.
And I love that they have added to that lineup. I'm really excited to see how they fare against the Rangers as well, who are really hot right now. Curtis, I don't know if you have splits up for the league and how they've done this month, or in particular just can summarize what the Rangers have been doing. But I feel like in addition to looking up at the Astros and trying to catch up to them, it's hugely important to separate from the Rangers.
Absolutely. I mean, gosh, if the Rangers pass you, you're no longer the 3rd wild card team. It's Texas. So winning this series is the most important thing you can do for yourself this weekend. You can afford to drop one game, but obviously you can afford to drop 2 because then you're in the same spot you were in prior to the weekend. But you gotta take at least 2 from Texas this weekend, preferably 3. And why stop at 3? Why not get 4? But yeah, the Rangers coming into this week had won 6 in a row. They had swept the A's, swept the Braves. They had won 9 of 10 actually. So I mean, they're playing incredible ball coming into the week. They've dropped 3 of their last 4, but I think it was Jordan Schusterman who was on with us, a week or 2 ago. He was like, yeah, the Rangers, I mean, I'm not willing to call their season done. I still think they've got a lot in their tank. And, I mean, you look at the top of their rotation with Eovaldi and DeGrom, I don't think anybody wants a part of the Rangers here down the stretch.
Yeah. Bump, we've already talked about the trade deadline. It has come and gone. The front office did what they needed to do to get this team ready for a World Series. Yeah, they could have added an arm, but, there were lingering reports about them trying, and maybe, they just didn't want the package that was offered or whatever. They didn't. you still added the 2 best bats at the deadline, period. So the front office has done its job. If the Mariners are able to make it to a World Series, it'll be because what? Like, who's the onus on right now to get there?
If the Mariners were to make it to the World Series, it's because Julio looks like the star that we think he is. Because I think everyone else is going to contribute at the level we expect them to contribute. Suarez has shown, and now he has the new environment, right?
Sure.
Welcome back to Seattle. But he's shown throughout the year that, all right, I'm going to strike out a lot, but I'm going to hit bombs and drive runs in. Cal's been doing his thing. Randy has been consistent. And JP, for the most part, has been doing what he's supposed to do, minus the last, 12 days or whatnot. If Julio catches fire and he's the guy that he's supposed to be, this team has a chance to do it. Now, me personally, I'm not even really saying World Series. I'm not saying that.
No?
Nah.
Why not?
I'm not saying World Series because I just got to see more.
Yeah.
I think on paper, World Series, but I gotta see it to believe it, you know? So yesterday was a great start to this whole thing. I mean, that's what Julio going over. You know, did he walk? I think he had a walk or so. Oh, no, just K'd once. But, no, it's just, I just got to see more. On paper, yeah, I can see World Series, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in execution. And for this team to be considered that in my eyes, I got to see Julio go bananas.
It is understandably fair to not bet on or feel confident about World Series for a franchise, the only one that's never been there. And also for a franchise that even with Julio, who hasn't been fantastic, and Cal, they've still been inconsistent.
Yeah.
So I get it. Completely understandable. I'm with you. I think the first place I look is at players. And in previous seasons when they haven't made it, we've been able to say, well, hey, it's on the front office to, add more talent. It's on the team to spend. It's on all this other stuff. But, like, I don't know, man. I kind of think they check those boxes. Like, it's kind of irrelevant now to go back and say, well, they should have added more in free agency. Well, in winter they didn't, and then they added as much as they could at the deadline. So that's where they're at right now. That's enough. They gave them enough to win. It is on players now, and that's the first time in a while I've thought that.
It's on the players, man. It typically is. Even if the product on the field isn't good enough to get to the World Series, you still got to look at the players and say, all right, well, in our eyes, I'm speaking as if I'm upstairs, in our eyes, we felt like we put together a good team. I mean, how many years have we spoken to, the powers that be, and they genuinely feel they have a playoff team? Yeah, it is on them, but this is the first time that I can be in alignment with their thinking and say, yes, it is on the players.
The Seahawks are closing in on the preseason, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks game on Friday, August 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, simply text APP to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. This contest runs through Monday, August 4th. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know. Coming your way next.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music of the year.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you know how America became the best country on God's green earth? We made things, from automobiles to airplanes to textiles. We were the manufacturing epicenter of the world, the innovators that every other country turned to. I'm Katie Lyon, co-founder of Allegiance Flag Supply, and I'm here to tell you that the American spirit is alive and well at Allegiance, where we make American flags 100% in America. When you fly your American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, you're not just honoring our country, you're supporting American men and women who proudly make the highest quality American flags, period. True patriots who put care into every stitch. See our full story at showallegiance.com and learn about our 100% American-based supply chain. Fly your flag from showallegiance.com with pride, because every flag says manufacturing is still alive and well in the U.S. and we are still the greatest country. Save $35 on your American flag set when you go to showallegiance.com.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at winning 4 tickets to see the Seattle Seahawks host the Kansas City Chiefs on August 15th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 30th through August 4th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. From the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app. The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman joined by a very special guest, Dr. Daniel Landis. He's on the Swedish CyberKnife team treating prostate cancer and accepting new patients. Dr. Landis, what could patients expect during CyberKnife treatment?
So the CyberKnife treatment's an outpatient procedure. Essentially, it's a 5-day treatment, about 30 minutes per day. You walk in, you walk out. You essentially don't feel anything at all during treatment. Many patients still work full-time while they're having treatment.
That's incredible. Where are your patients from?
We see patients from all over, patients from out of state, Alaska, Idaho, from all over the world, honestly, since it's such a short treatment.
How can someone get a hold of you?
I would encourage patients to reach out to us directly. We'd be happy to schedule a consultation.
Thank you, Dr. Landis and the team at Swedish CyberKnife for the wonderful work they do. And remember, you don't need a physician's referral. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. That's swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. We've been fortunate to work with over 4,000 local people and help them hit some pretty amazing weight loss goals. I'm joined by 2 of them right now, Mike Salk and Ryan Rowland-Smith. Ryan, every time I see you on TV, I'm even more proud of all you've accomplished on the plan.
I'm so happy. For years, I've been trying to find a consistent plan that delivered results with my busy family and work schedule. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic not only delivered, but it was an absolute breeze. It was so enjoyable because the plan wasn't hard. I was able to eat delicious food, and I literally lost weight every single day.
Eastside Weight Loss Clinic works so well for me. I'm happy to hear more people are using it to lose weight and prioritize their health as well. It's an awesome plan. Schedule a free 50-minute consultation today. Go to eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
No surgery, no exercise, no packaged meals, no drugs or injections. Just delicious food and a plan that works. Schedule a free 15-minute consultation today at eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. I think this one's actually, I saved it from yesterday. So it was this person's birthday yesterday. Happy late birthday. I just got lots of freebies via email. Which is the best? You're choosing between the following things.
Okay.
Free sandwich from Paseo, a free Pagliacci. How do you say it, Matt? whatever.
Pagliacci. You actually got it right.
I got it. Free Pagliacci slice, half a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, or Baskin-Robbins scoop. You have to choose one.
I go with a pizza. My kids love pizza.
I love it.
I go pizza.
Yeah.
Never fails. They always want to eat pizza.
And Pagliacci's good. Okay. What I need to know. Bump. Oh, God, the golf ones again. Ignoring the quality of golf, what kind of club would you like to belong to? Would it be exclusive, lots of rules, or would you prefer a more casual atmosphere?
Oh, man. Exclusive golf courses, lots of rules, means the golf course is in great shape. Not too many people are on it, and the pace of play is not going to be really slow. The more casual ones, you know what? It gets a little rowdy. People don't know the etiquette. So the older I get, the more exclusive I want. So right now, I'd go with the exclusive one, man. But listen, I belong to an exclusive club, but then I'd go kick it with the ratchets all the time.
Is there part of you that kind of likes like rules of golf and rules of kind of so you're saying like even if the course was the same both ways, you would kind of prefer an atmosphere that was a little more like be respectful of the place. And
just because the course is going to be in great shape and the pace of play is going to be on point. Sometimes you go to public courses and there's dudes out there hacking away, taking their time, and it's a 6-hour round.
What I need to know. Is it only pro football that allows a player to not commit to the current contract they already signed up for and ask for more money? I don't recall seeing this in professional basketball or professional baseball.
It feels like it, and the reason why is because baseball and football and basketball are guaranteed contracts. That's why they don't hold out. They're like, I'm going to get this money regardless.
No matter what.
You know what? I could retire today. And I'm still going to get this money unless there's a clause in their contract. But no, it's because of the guaranteed money. So you're not going to see it many times in other sports.
You do get like unhappy players in the NBA for sure. But to Bump's point, for Micah Parsons, he's looking at it going, why would you not? And an important thing to know is that it is quite standard to give those extensions for players ahead of that final season.
Yeah.
So Micah Parsons, in theory, is not playing out the final year of a deal he already signed or was given as a rookie, but in practice, it's very common and expected for franchise players entering that year to get a new deal. So he's also kind of playing by the rules, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very standard practice what Parsons is doing.
866-979-3776. What I need to know. What percentage of defensive snaps would you want newcomers on defense to play? Two of them, DeMarcus Lawrence and Nick Emanwari.
Emanwari, I would want him to play 50 to 60% of the snaps. DeMarcus Lawrence, give him about 20 to 30% of the snaps. Rotate.
Someone wants to know what we think of Coach Prime and Karuchi Tran. What a beautiful relationship I didn't know existed.
Coach Prime and who?
Is he with Karuchi Tran?
I don't know.
Oh, well.
Yeah, she was there was a video of her by his bedside.
I didn't know. I didn't
from
see
his
that.
cancer surgery. Yeah.
I can't believe there's a celebrity couple I didn't know about.
What is she known for?
Like music, right?
Yeah, she was just like she dated Chris Brown. Like she was.
Oh, she's young?
No, she's late 30s now. Chris Brown isn't. Chris Brown is, I
mean,
think,
but
almost
Prime
40.
is like 55.
Yes, she's quite a bit younger than him.
Yeah.
You have to choose one. Roller coasters, water slides.
Roller coaster all day. Water slide, those steep ones, I feel like I'm going to fall forward and flip out that thing.
What I don't like about roller coasters is you could die. What I don't like about water slides is you could die. Like I don't like the water slides. It makes me feel claustrophobic, so a warning for people. Have you ever seen videos of the water slides where as a portion of the slide you're actually underwater? Like it makes me feel like I can't breathe.
You seen it where you get stuck too? They've gotten stuck.
Underwater?
Nah, on the slide, but it's not necessarily underwater, but.
I'm realizing I have a fear of water. In real time, I'm realizing I have a fear of water slides. What should I get my wife for our 10-year wedding anniversary? 10 years. 10 years.
10 years. First, you get her like a room somewhere by herself. If you guys have kids, I'm sure she would enjoy some alone time. But then, I don't know, you got to go off her personality too, man. Like, 10 years, I mean, jewelry's always nice, but you probably bought a bunch of jewelry before, but just time alone, I feel like she would appreciate. But then you come in and do go to your favorite restaurant or whatnot. You know, I don't know the financial situation. If you balling like these athletes out here, do it big.
What I need to know, do you think the Seahawks actually make a pitch for Micah Parsons?
No, not at all.
Really?
Nope.
Not even like a...
I mean, they pick up the phone.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
they're laughing. It's like they look at the caller ID like, oh, look who's calling, Jerry.
What I need to know. Do y'all hate when callers say first time, long time as much as I do? No.
Nah.
We don't get it that often.
Yeah, we don't. I really like it because it's I think it's actually quite intimidating to actually call in and say, you know, how you feel about something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's flattering of like, hey, I listened and I finally wanted to just call in and say this because I feel dispassionately about this topic.
Yeah.
What I need to know, I lost the question, but it was about, is there a better lineup than the Mariners have right now in MLB?
In MLB?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Dodgers are healthy.
When the Dodgers are healthy.
But, you know, I don't know lineups as well as I know those two. But I know that when the Dodgers are healthy, probably the Dodgers.
Curtis, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, the Dodgers with Ohtani and Freeman and Betts and Teoscar, like, pretty good.
And the Yankees, obviously, but there is a gap between Judge's production, clearly, and the rest of the league, but also the rest of the Yankees. I'm curious to see the Yankees for 2 weeks without him, but they're really good, too. Astros had question marks entering the season, but ended up getting lots of surprise contributions. It's just unfortunately, like Pena looked amazing, but they've just had so many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think what's really cool is for the first time in a very, very long time, I mean, guys, think about it. Think of how we were talking about this team in winter and how we're talking about it right now on August 1st.
Times have changed.
It is a 180.
Sure is.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Why am I've never said that before. What am I even doing?
What's wrong with that?
Because you know why? I probably haven't had enough water.
Look at you. She's
told you,
bought in, folks.
I've been so lightheaded today.
She's bought in.
I think it's the allergy medication. Oh my God. Stick around because Wyman and Bob will be joined by Mariners GM Justin Hollander to lead off their show at 2 p.m. Don't go anywhere.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
I was always a guy that, like, if I could get an interception, man. How many did you have in your career? 3. How many should you have had? If you, as you put it, if you didn't have frying pan hands. Yeah, I would say probably double that. When I was in high school, I played in a state championship game. I had 2 interceptions in one game, and I was like, that was my favorite game. I just loved that.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The Davis Law Group Charity Golf Tournament heads to the Prospector Course in Suncadia on August 20th. Proceeds benefit Life Support I-90, funding life-saving training and equipment for the first responders on call every day, covering the thousands of travelers heading over the I-90 corridor east of Snoqualmie Pass through Cle Elum and the surrounding areas. Tee times and sponsor packages are limited, so sign up today at dlggolf.com. That's dlggolf.com, because the life you save could be your own.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Crawl space and attics are not places you want to spend much time, but many homes in our area can have serious issues behind the hatches. Hi, it's the owner of Crawl Pros, Richard Herron. For years, you've heard us talking about how we go where you don't want to. with our free corner-to-corner inspection to keep your crawl space and attic well insulated and free of mold and water. You've also heard about the pest control division of our company to keep your home bug and critter free. I'm excited to tell you about our newest division, Plumber Pros. Plumber Pros takes the same customer-first approach to plumbing that we do with our crawl space, attic, and pest control work. We've handpicked skilled plumbers that I know you'll feel comfortable inviting into your home. So next time you run into plumbing issues, from leaky faucets and clogged drains to full home repipes and sub pump installations, call Crawl Pros and we'll get our plumbing division, Plumber Pros, out to get it resolved. For anything related to your crawl space, attic, pest control, or plumbing, call Crawl Pros or visit us at crawlpros.com.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-7906. 800-298-7906.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Looking for an epic summer night in Seattle? Be here for the Mariners Drone Show at T-Mobile Park, Friday, August 22nd, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
It is Grand Salami time. Cal Raleigh with his third Grand Slam of the season.
The team is taking on the A's at 7:10, and after the game, we'll be lighting up the sky with hundreds of drones, celebrating Mariners icons past